Have any of you played Fallout?
Nope. So
Not at all.
You're getting this from people who have not
know nothing about the Fallout. A little bit. All right, episode 21. We just had a whole diatribe about the fucking Cream the Rabbit model from the Sonic series. We just watched some TikTok. I don't even know why I shared this thing.
Sonic Cream the Rabbit.
All right, starting over.
take it from the top.
Oh fuck. Thank God for editing. That's staying in. I don't even know why I'm saying that.
Just bleep it out.
We could. Welcome back to Kingz After Dark.
Yes, sir.
Episode 21. We are back at it. I always say to do this, and then I always forget to the end of the episode. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on our different social medias. That shit's popping up somewhere time right now. Yeah, y'all know the deal. Y'all know what to do. We trust y'all. We love y'all.
You know what's good?
Why? All right, I see Hoodwinked.
Yeah. So
What is the other thing?
the topic that I plan to talk about today is basically, I wouldn't say comparing two movies, but talking about two movies because they have almost contrasting, things going for them, and both have weird reasons why they're either good or bad.
Are we talking about the Hoodwinked Goat? Because the Hoodwinked Goat is the goat.
Oh yeah, that's
Hoodwinked Goat is the goat.
So we could talk about this now, actually, if we're cool.
Yeah.
Hop straight into it. So the other day, I wanted to talk about this last week, but we were talking about a lot of other stuff, so I just pushed it back to this week. But I was essentially I randomly get the spurts of nostalgia or something, or I see something or I hear something. I'm like, oh, what is that? What is that? Yes. And this time it was Hoodwinked because somebody, I think on Twitter, I saw something on Twitter, and it was one lyric to the Be Prepared song that this goat sings. And I was like, what's that from? What's that from? And I'm like, why do I remember every single line of this song? And I don't remember where it's from. And I'm like, Hoodwinked. And I was like, bro, that movie?
You've got one life so handily with.
I was like, it's so good. And I haven't searched anything on this movie in years. So I was like, okay, what's going on? I want to look up stuff. I want to talk about this. And I looked up some videos because I was just genuinely curious, just how well it did. Because I did not know. I just remembered the movie was fun. I enjoyed it when I was younger and watched it. And the goat is the goat. Absolutely. I agree. But I basically just went on this whole, deep dive into just Hoodwinked and its production and what happened.
Oh, I see now. Okay.
And this is straight off of another movie that I was very disappointed in that I'll mention in a little bit. But I just remembered this movie and I was like, this movie was great for almost the opposite reasons of the movie we just saw recently that was really bad. So I wanted to dive into that a little bit. But Hoodwinked.
We were supposed to. I'm not exactly gonna I'm not gonna force anyone to sit down and watch it. We will eventually.
I was gonna say
we'll get there.
After what I have to say today. After what I have to say today, you might not even want to watch it.
Fair.
But
do we need to watch any of these videos? It seems like we're all pretty on the up and up with Hoodwinked.
I was gonna say, if we all know what Hoodwinked is, definitely we don't have to watch it.
Have you seen Hoodwinked?
I do want to rewatch the Goat, unless it's going to kill our audio.
That's what I'm worried about. I think we can rewatch it right quick, and I'm just gonna pause this audio for a sec and then start it up again.
Do not be prepared. Neverland just coming and I'm scared.
Throwing like a mountain lion, I'm scared.
Yeah, that's crazy because you sent this in the Discord chat, and I saw that the next video from let's say High Kai Lokai
Yeah, which I don't watch his stuff. It's just a really good analysis video of
Right.
the movie, but also how it was made and reasons why
Right.
it
'Cause
did well.
The title of the song is the thumbnail says bad animation, amazing film. And it really dawned on me. It was like, man, Hoodwinked does look a little like dog shit.
It's not great.
This movie came out in
looking.
2005.
Yes.
But it also has like sort of unexpected moments of quality, like when they outrun the avalanche and the snow is like blasting in behind them.
Yeah.
Like a low
Someone-
quality person wouldn't bother to do that much detail kind
Right.
of like thing, but it's
Every
like,
moment with the like goat, like they had fur on the goat. They like fully articulated his lips. So even though the shots and the environment was really weird, the lighting was dog shit. But the actual like quality of the motion that they were conveying with the characters was budgeted, but it was pretty good.
It's like someone had a really good tech artist on staff and no good character or environment artists. Like everyone was just kind of making it happen as they had to.
Yeah.
But it still creates this really good film that's really fun to watch every time it comes on.
Yeah, it's a whole thing of they even admitted too, like the team that was working on this, or at least the person who directed it, was talking about its production. They wanted to hit a certain style with it because of its genre specifically. They wanted it to feel more like kind of puppet-esque with the style, but at the same time, their budget was only, and I say only because almost every other animated film has a way bigger budget.
Right. I want to point out that at the time this movie came out, Finding Nemo was already a thing.
Yeah.
Toy Story 1 and 2 was already out.
Yep.
Shrek 1 and 2 had already come out.
Yep.
A few other like high profile, but obviously Disney and DreamWorks, like shit, like the standard for what an animated 3D movie could look like was already set pretty fucking high by the time this movie came out.
Yep. And this dropped, but it had a budget of $8 million. So $8 million made this.
Usually, isn't it like 100?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For most animated films, especially around this time, yes. But this team only had $8 million, and they were able to do this still, which is impressive.
Yeah.
But the guy who essentially approved this idea for the movie just really wanted to make an animated film. He was just like, I want to make I want to make something. And when he was pitched this idea, he was gung-ho for it, essentially. But of course, all the software technology for making these films were pretty still rudimentary, at least the stuff that was available to the public,
Right.
or whatnot. Because the team that made this wasn't, like you said, Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks. Wasn't that? It was just a random team.
Fucking Blue Yonder.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Are they still around in any capacity, or is it just?
Probably not.
I don't think so. No. No, because this essentially hit that like critical success.
Right.
Of course, they get bought out, and then another bigger company released a sequel that was ass. But
Speaking of, there was a
Hoodwinked 2.
I
was not good.
completely forgot there's a Hoodwinked 2.
Yeah, if you look up Blue Yonder now, you get an intelligent supply chain platform. Blue Yonder provides 3,000 of the world's leading brands with the ability to utilize the full power of their data.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that studio essentially went down, but
No, clearly they pivoted to a different fucking market, but
yeah,
that's interesting. I was just about. You reminded me of something we got to talk about after this. Speaking of companies buying shit up and making real bad choices with it afterwards, there's some big news in the video game field, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
is it about EA?
No,
Oh, okay.
Was it about Bungie?
no,
Is
it's about an
all of
indie
the
company.
Fucking mergers going on right now in the games industry.
Probably connected to it.
There's a lot of mergers and consolidation going on right now.
There's a really bad monopoly problem going on with the big brands.
Welcome to late stage capitalism, baby.
Yeah.
Microsoft and Sony are basically turning into the Coke and Pepsi of entertainment. But there is another half to this conversation.
There is. I want to wrap up on the Hoodwinked stuff though.
Okay.
but because it kind of ties into what I'm going to talk about with the other movie. But yeah, I mean that thumbnail pretty much sums up a lot of the main chunk, I guess. And of course, we could have a whole entire episode about why it's good. But basically, does the animation and stuff like carry? Not necessarily. It's not the worst, but it's definitely not up to par with all the other animated films that were releasing around that time.
Right.
It
occupies that same space as stuff like Monster House and some other shit that you never knew were movies until like they were airing on Cartoon Network.
Monster House was really good.
Monster House is really good. I mean, it lends itself very well. I'm not thinking Monster House, not Monster House.
I never saw Monster House.
There's a Halloween one that came out on Cartoon Network, and they had like 2 Halloween specials that were like straight to TV. I can't.
Monster House, like spin-offs?
No.
Oh,
it's not Monster House at all.
Okay.
I thought Monster House because I first thought it was like horror cartoon. I have to. You keep talking about Hoodwinked.
I did not like Monster House when it came out.
Oh,
It was too scary for little old 8-year-old me.
I might also be thinking of Frankie, but I don't remember if that was good or not.
I didn't see
I did
Frank
not
and
deal
Weenie.
with like horror while I was a child, especially like abstract horror, like or existential horror. Like I could not stand Courage the Cowardly Dog. I
Really?
hated Courage the Cowardly Dog. It was terrifying.
Oh wow.
I mean,
I was like, I just couldn't fathom why Courage wouldn't kill himself. Like, I was like, I don't know how you could eke out an existence like this. This is miserable.
Still not Paranorman. What is this fucking Halloween show? Keep talking about. What's going on.
So,
but I have a distinct memory of like going to Blockbuster and like getting the Hoodwinked, like being like, "Oh, this looks adequate," and my parents being like, "That's fine, we'll grab that," and like bringing it home and like watching Hoodwinked, and eventually it being like a Christmas present that we got because we liked it so much. And we wouldn't stop singing the fucking goat song. Like me and my sisters were like,
it's so good. It's so iconic. The story writing is good. It's a little crazy. There's a lot of stuff happens. There's some questionable things with pacing.
It's a bit scattered.
It's a bit scattered, yeah. But like the genre that it is, like the kind of genre that the story is, was a pretty much kind of like the popular thing at that time. And the whole thing of subverting the expectations of fairy tales was huge because of Shrek.
Yeah.
And so they capitalized on that in that time. And that's another reason why it went so well.
Which we haven't mentioned yet. If you don't know what Hoodwinked is, if you're either too young for it or just kind of skipped over when it came out, no shade to that. Hoodwinked is the tale of take Little Red Riding Hood literally just from that story and make it a noir-esque murder mystery. And you have Hoodwinked.
Yeah, there's so many different characters in there, and you get to see like each side of their story about the whole event. And it's really cool because as the story unfolds, you're learning more and more and more about the situation. Like, you learn about different, characters and like maybe some other things that they were doing. While it's like, okay, from this person's perspective, yeah, that character was just doing this, but actually that character was doing this on the side. It was involved with this other character. I don't know. It gets really interesting.
It does.
I don't watch a whole bunch of like.
That's right. I didn't really remember a lot about the film, but as you're bringing this up, yeah, because you have like a vignette for each character as they give their own perspective on the events that unfolded. And as you go, you gain allies, and I don't remember how it all resolves.
I mean, we could.
Yeah.
I think
Spoiler alert.
We could spoil. Yeah, I'm not spoiler alerting this fucking 20-year-old movie. You find out that I want to say the main mystery is where is her grandmother, and it turns out grandma's not dead, but I forget where.
It's the Goody Bandit. Who the Goody Bandit?
Oh,
because the grandma is there getting interviewed too. Like you see her. It's like towards the very end of the movie. Well, I wouldn't say very end, but like towards the end, she's one of the last people to talk about what she was doing. Because everybody's like, oh, grandma was just like sitting in the bed and the big wolf ate her up. And then grandma, when it's finally her turn, she's like, actually, I'm a badass extreme sports person.
Yeah.
And it shows like her doing all these super cool like skateboarding or snowboarding tricks and skiing flips and shit.
That's right, extreme sports grandma.
Yeah. And like the situation she found herself in was mainly her own fault, actually. And it just so happened that everything just kind of coincidentally fell into place.
Yeah.
But the main mystery is who this goody bandit is.
That's right. Yeah.
And the weird case of like, why was grandma in the closet? Like, was she okay? Is she okay?
Well, because of the time period, being gay was not really seen as a okay thing.
Yeah.
It's okay to be gay.
It's okay to be gay. I was about to say something. Shit. It's gone. Oh, if you've ever heard anyone use the term dynamite for the term dynamite, that's where it comes from. That's absolutely where it comes from, because the big bad wolf is a detective in his own right who's buddy copping with some fucking squirrel.
Yep. Hammy.
God, like it's a movie like same as Fluff. I don't remember it super well because it's been a long time since I've seen it. But there's so many little like gems that just stick in the head from it.
The writing is really good, and you'd be surprised. If you look up the cast for that movie, it's actually loaded.
Yeah, it was a weirdly star-studded cast.
Yes, Anne Hathaway is red.
Oh my fucking God.
Huh?
Yes.
Like,
And
like $5, and she's like, okay.
Well,
That's where the budget went
I was
to.
like, people are suspecting that's where a lot of the budget went, is to the Anne Hathaway and the guy who plays a lot of Peter. That guy.
Fuck, what is his name?
Oh shit.
Yeah,
The guy
he's
who
Wolf.
did
Yeah, he's definitely Wolf.
Peter.
And then Tara Strong makes an appearance.
Really?
Yeah,
Who's she?
Some character that isn't super pivotal.
Are they gay now?
I don't know.
Gay? Are they?
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
But, like,
Warburton.
That
yes,
guy.
yes. But like, if you keep scrolling through that list of cast members, like,
It is a randomly star-studded cast.
It
It's the
is.
same as there's another movie that did that was not good, but had like every A-list like celebrity's name in it. It was like 6-7 years ago, maybe. Oh, what was the movie? Now it's gonna bother me. Oh well, I just have to let it bother me.
yeah. But like, it had such a great cast, and they did very good with their character performances. It all came together. Even if the animation wasn't that great, almost everything else was working for it.
Yeah.
And it released first in California, in a very small crowd, but then it got released, globally, and to all the theaters. But the problem is it got distributed by the Weinstein Company.
Yep.
Which is why you can't watch it anywhere.
Because, yeah.
Yeah. So you can't watch it on any streaming services.
Only the biggest Hollywood exec at the time.
Yeah.
Everything gets distributed by him.
I guess.
And then when that empire crumbles, all of it crumbles. I was about to say, it's gone again. Shit.
You need to eat something, or?
Well, answer is yes, but
Do you want one of my tacos?
not right now. But I will take one. Yeah, so.
He's like, I will happily be a taco slut. If there's anything I'm going to be a slut for.
I'm just taking the opportunity to reveal your true nature. I don't want anybody
I'm
to see.
fairly certain I've said it out loud on the podcast.
Yeah, you have. First episode, I think.
episode, yeah.
Either
I'm
the
a
first
whore.
or second episode, I think you admitted straight up.
It was like, I'm a whore. I'm not tripping. Also, I found the movie I was referring to. Fucking Scary Godmother.
I've
never seen this.
Don't. It was like this weirdly like straight to TV. It was this weird Halloween special that Cartoon Network would put on back in the years, and it looks.
I've seen the.
It has.
Oh yeah, okay. I've seen that image somewhere, but I did not even think about.
Style.
Some would call it that.
There was a choice.
There was a choice. Also, like this, I was insulting Hoodwinked when I said it occupies the same space. This movie came out in 2012.
What?
Actually, no, wait, was that one of the sequels? Because it has sequels somehow. I have no idea how. No, I lied. It's 2003. The first one came out in 2003.
even before Hoodwinked.
Yeah, Scary Godmother Halloween Spooktacular.
There's
Interesting.
like an attempt at Nightmare Before Christmas or something going on.
Yeah,
Nightmare
like
Before
they're trying
Christmas
to bite the
Nightmare
Tim
Before
Burton
Christmas.
style. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. Shit, it's gone again.
Just like that.
Fuck me. Why? I literally just had it.
Holy shit.
Well, wait, let's everybody be quiet until he remembers.
Next time you remember it, don't hold on to it. You have to blurt it out.
Yeah, it's
just blurt
almost
it.
called being a decent person.
We're
Damn.
just gonna be like talking about random stuff.
We really are.
Peanuts.
Charlie Brown and Snoopy and the Peanut.
What the fuck was I gonna say? It was something to do with Halloween. I thought
That's funny.
maybe. I'm so mad because legitimately, like 5 seconds before I said that, I had it.
It happens to the best.
What the fuck is this?
Huh?
What have we moved on to? This weird early 2000s.
Is this like the
Is this Mega Man? No.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And maybe a
Kid?
bastardized perversion
Oh.
of Mega Man.
It does look like a bastardized version of Mega Man.
Eon Kid.
Is that what it says?
EO.
Oh, Eon Kid.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
Did you like the style of Mega Man? You know, this like looks
This would make me excited if I was like,
a child.
yeah.
But why is it here?
I think it just auto-played. Anywho,
So
there was something about this fucking Scary Godmother that made me think about it.
Came on Cartoon Network. You never heard of it before.
Yeah, it was like
They
straight
really
to TV.
deliberately went to make you uncomfortable by just making all of the characters' designs not.
Yeah.
Mm.
You mentioned Hoodwinked came out. That's what I was gonna say. Okay. Hoodwinked has
No, keep going. Don't stop.
You both just like turned at me.
Don't
Literally. No, Hoodwinked very much has this feeling to it of a bunch of like friends got together to make something. Like knowing that they didn't really have much to make it with. Like they just got together and just had fun together.
Like DAGD makes a movie. Maybe it'll
Some would say.
maybe a little more than
Yeah. Right.
That's very generous to DAGD.
There's a certain era of DAGD.
Mm.
Me and Izzy remember from a while back. Yeah, it has very much Hoodwinked has that quality to it where it creates this really good product, even though it's made very low budget in a way. It creates this really good product because everyone working on it is having a good time.
Yeah, like those weird projects you find on the internet sometimes that, you know, inevitably die because
They have no real like
but
backing
you're
to
like,
it.
this is really cool and interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of like Howard Wispy. Anyways,
A little bit. If we had, you know, a budget going into it, we probably would still be
Or
working.
I don't know if we have kept developing and put it on fucking Kickstarter. Hey, you know,
Potentially.
who knows where we'd be right now?
dead.
Yeah, probably.
Probably have working day in and day out on it. Probably.
We would have killed each other by now.
Could you imagine having funding for that and then having to manage that throughout the pandemic? That would have been miserable.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna reference something and I realized I shouldn't do that because these people still technically are my friends. At least a few of them are. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about it.
So yeah, that's Hoodwinked. Great movie. Meh, whatever. Not
Meh
so great
animation.
animation, but like,
But it comes
still
together.
works.
It has heart.
Yes.
Like it has like fuck ton of like heart and soul to it.
Yes.
Unlike this next one.
Unlike this next movie that literally came out, a few months ago, I want to say, maybe last, no, not last
Wasn't
year.
it last?
Was it last year?
November?
I don't know. Recent, within the past like 6 months to a year, right? Wish. Disney's Wish. We're talking about Disney's Wish. Their 100-year anniversary film that they've been working on for basically 100 years in the making, whatever, right?
Yep.
This is their movie that they dropped.
They got that one guy that was there at the very beginning.
Yeah.
They unfroze.
Yeah, they brought Walt right back out. He came and had a personal
That's
hand
why
in
it was
this.
so bad. And it was run by a disembodied brain.
Yeah. But like
Spoilers, it was bad.
Spoilers, it was bad.
I don't think we even need to put a spoiler on this one because
No, we
people
don't.
have probably at least seen that people are saying it's bad.
Right.
It's not good. Anybody who says it is kind of blinding themselves.
It's quite literally the opposite problem of it's the direct opposite to Hoodwinked of it looks visually fantastic. Because it's a fucking Disney movie, no shit.
Right. Which even that was kind of criticized at first. But like after pretty much the opening sequence of them opening a book and saying, a storybook tale or whatever, I was like, okay, they're trying to make it look like a storybook, style while maintaining a 3D, production, which is like, I kind of like how they mix that together here.
It feels a little washed out, but at least from what I've seen in the trailer and some scenes, but it's not ineffective. It's a style.
It's a very much pizza is pizza deal.
Yeah.
Pizza is pizza forever. A Disney film is a Disney film. Even their worst looking films are gonna look fucking amazing because it's Disney.
Yeah. It's definitely colorful with like, it feels like there's some kind of filter on top of it for some reason. Whatever that is, I don't know. So there is that. But like, yeah, Disney is Disney, Pixar is Pixar. They're going to make good looking stuff, but what's under that good looking layer, right? And that's where I am most disappointed with this movie because it could have been very good. It could have been really good. And there's evidence that they had drafts of the movie that were significantly better than what they actually ended up with. But just a whole bunch of politics and shit
That goat's
got in
ears
the
are
way.
backwards.
What was that?
That goat's ears are backwards.
We're going to always notice this now. Asha's ears are backwards.
Ostrich? Did you say ostrich ears are backwards?
No, Asha. That's the
You
character's
can
name.
see that.
Chicken's ears are back.
The chicken's ears.
The funny thing is, the chickens could have backwards ears. We have no idea.
They have little holes.
Yeah,
in
they
their
do have
head,
little
They
holes.
do. That's
covered
what I'm
with
saying,
feathers, so they
but
kind of might
we
be
would
turned
never
back.
see that.
If they're backwards, would that just mean that they're inverted?
You would never know if the chicken's ears were backwards,
You'll
Izzy.
never know.
Their ears are secret, Izzy.
Could you imagine animals with like just human ears in proportion? Like if every creature just had this style of like earlobe, whatever the fuck the outer bit is.
Like
Bruh.
like the convergent evolution, the human ear,
Yeah.
was the optimal
Yeah.
form for all creatures.
Blue whale.
The
Just
blue-
fucking gigantic fucking ear off the side of a blue whale. Sorry. Anyway, this terrible fucking movie.
Yeah. So it's their 100-year celebration. So of course they want to reference like all their Disney movies in the past, and they throw a shit ton in there. It's almost like what is it? Fan service, I guess.
Love letter?
You would want to say love letter,
That'd be fair.
but the execution
If
of
Fair enough.
If there was love in it.
the execution does not imply that this is really a love letter.
It's a letter to Disney Animations.
Love letters.
Yes.
Yeah, so it has a lot of references to all of their other films. They wanted it to be a love letter, but with how they executed pretty much everything, it gives off mediocre. And it's almost as if they're like, okay, we have to make a reference to this movie and that movie and that movie. So let's do it like this. We'll do it here. We'll do it there. We'll make all of her friends the seven dwarves and give them like their qualities, but not spend any time developing them at all as actual characters themselves. And just like say, he's grumpy, he's sad, he's sneezy, and just like, that is what it is. And again, that touches on the character aspect. They literally don't let you try to figure out these characters. They kind of come straight out and tell you what every character's weaknesses and strengths are pretty much at the very beginning of the movie. Because there's a whole thing of, okay, when you're developing a character and you're going through that character arc throughout the movie, you give the audience a chance to learn who the character is, what their values are, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and that helps you connect with the character because you're like, oh, okay, she reacted this way to that because she's probably struggling with this. Like, no, they tell you instantly. It's like, because Asha is, trying to get interviewed for it's apprenticeship. And so her friend's like, hey, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And right off the bat, Asha's just like, oh, yeah, okay, well, my weakness is this. My strength is that. She's all bubbly and everything, like all the current Disney princesses and protagonists are. I don't know. There's a lot I could talk about. I'm going to rant.
And you have talked about a lot, yeah.
Yes, I could rant all day about just modern Disney stuff. But essentially, this movie basically treats its audience like a baby the entire time. And they're trying to capitalize on the most recent hits with, Encanto and Moana. They're trying to copy those, algorithms, essentially.
Right.
But it's not sticking because the story is just not good. They try to do these musicals numbers, and they're just so wordy.
Fucking.
And I think the video I posted in here is of probably the worst offender in that, even though it could be good. It could be good. It's not. They messed it up so bad.
What was the line? Is it IR star?
Something here I are.
There it is.
Instead of here I am, he says here
I
I
are to make the rhyme.
Just to make it rhyme. And I'm like, why would you do that? You could take 10 more minutes at most to figure out a better word flow for a better line. But instead they decided to just run with that and not change it.
Right.
And maybe that's just the fun of it. Maybe that's what they were trying to have fun with or whatever. But it's like, I don't know.
I was like, that lyric's supposed to be a joke?
Right.
But no, it just feels like somebody who didn't go to high school wrote it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a situation of when you haven't proven you have heart and soul, you don't get to make jokes like that and have them come off as like legitimate jokes. You just sound like you just come off as fucking terrible. Mm-hmm. Like you just come off as like, we're too lazy to figure out an actual line that rhymes. So we're just going to shoehorn this in the best we can.
Here I
like
are,
if the story was incredible up to that point, I'm sure you would be like,
oh,
here I are. That's so funny.
If like the fucking quality of the craft up till that point had proven, it was like well designed for that. Yeah, it'd be like, okay, yeah, you have a track record that proves that this works out for you.
Or like it was given to a character who is a bit of a goof and stumbles over their words sometimes.
Nope, just a random deer you never met until this show number.
Yeah, honestly, the movie, it's like the first part of the movie isn't terrible. It establishes the world. Sure, it like pretty much tells the audience exactly what every character is or whatever. We could kind of look past that. Right. For now. And then, all the way up, honestly, until that song, the movie is okay. It's not bad. I was like, okay, this could be good. This could be good. Mm-hmm. This could be pretty good. And then it just goes downhill as soon as the star appears. And then that shit happens.
When your main MacGuffin appears.
And he turns all the animals into talking animals for no reason, kind of. But every Disney movie has to have some kind of animal that talks, apparently.
Market research would indicate that the children really like the anthropomorphized animals.
Yeah. So, like, that happens. They do this whole musical number that annoys the shit out of me. And then they come up with this dumbass plan that I'm like, okay, no.
But why is the star?
Why is the star a star? Why is it there?
Why is
the star?
Kenton, justify your own existence on this planet to me right now.
Didn't she wish on a star?
I mean, that's honestly what the star is there to kind of do. To say, to help them realize, like, hey, you exist.
Yeah.
You're a star. You were made from nothing. And you're stars.
So since you're already a star, you already have the magic.
Yeah, the magic is in you, which is a cool message. But
it was so they can shoehorn in the fucking phrase at some point, somewhere down the line, when you wish upon a star.
Yes.
Makes no difference who you are.
Like, that's why it's so frustrating, because the skeleton for a good movie is there. It's there. Like, that message, great, honestly. And if you want to tie it into your whole, Wish Upon a Star, that song, that legacy song, great. We love that. Just, why did you have to release a half-baked, thought-out movie to do it?
Because the comments on the music video pretty much point out why. People still fucking love it. Well, people's children love it.
Yeah.
They don't give a flying fuck about it, but they will love it because their kids love it. And much in the same complaint that Game Freak gets with Pokemon is like, as long as people continue to eat it up and buy it.
Yeah.
What other reason? It's just wild to me because, like, it's not like Disney has not had a bad track record. The live action remakes have been, but like, as far as their animated shit goes, Encanto was great.
Oh yeah.
Fucking Moana was great.
Yeah.
Like, all of their animated shit up till this point had been great. You get to the 100-year anniversary and just shit the bed. That's what we're doing.
Right.
This is where we decide to.
I feel like they knew it was going to be bad too. I didn't hear anything about it.
100 years,
Well-
the bowels are gonna start.
Yeah.
going.
But-
Actually, I don't watch like any advertisements, so I'm not a good barometer.
I mean, fair, but I remember the other important bit of all of this is temporal of what was going on during the development of this movie.
Oh yeah.
The writer's strike. This movie was happening while Disney was embroiled with the fact that they were being called out for shitty work conditions, which I think also definitely plays like a major role in this shit.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense as to why they had the bones of something good, and then somebody left without putting flesh on the bones.
Yeah.
And
And so they were starting to throw flesh on that bone, on those bones, as
without the
best
talent.
they could without the talent that could actually make it good.
Yeah. And apparently, too, I found out that the star was supposed to be a boy, like a magical, like, boy.
Yeah.
Who came down, was talking and everything and helped.
Mm-hmm.
But, they trashed that idea. Like,
They
that
made
went
it-
all the way through, like, storyboards and animatics and everything.
That's not merchandisable.
But, yep.
No
Essentially.
one's gonna buy the little boy figure.
But
in the
the-
Disney
the-
section.
Everybody liked that Lua. Wait.
Luma?
Right from Mario.
Yeah, no, it's definitely easier to make a plush of a small, cute star than it is to try and make a doll that the kids aren't gonna want to buy.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, apparently the director's reason why is that they felt that making it a human that could apparently turn into anything, right? Because at one point they had Asha riding the Starboy in a horse form. Which, sorry. I'm a motherfucking Starboy. I
just fucking the weekend just shows up in the movie.
Yeah. Every day a nigga try to test me. How so empty need a centipede?
Stop before we get copyrighted.
Fair enough. I'm not that good of a singer to get.
Either way,
Um,
see, you have to be that bad.
I'm sorry, my bad. Oh man, but no, like apparently they thought that it was too easy to make the boy be able to change into whatever Asha needed. Like that was too easy they could just like break the movie with that. So they were like, we gotta, put a limit on that.
I'm
somehow.
sorry. Never mind.
And we wanted to make sure Asha could solve all the problems on her own. But I'm like,
You basically do that anyway. You literally gave her a MacGuffin.
You're stupid.
Like, you literally just gave her unlimited power.
yes.
It's the fucking book of infinite magic bullshit all over again.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, if it could transform into anything, it would be a little bit too ridiculous. We're just gonna give her unlimited power and wishes. That's
Yeah, that's more
more
believable,
reasonable.
right?
It's a merchandisable form.
No, they realized that they were going to step all over their fucking protagonist, that it's needed to sell the dolls to the children because Disney has a straight up designed the toy market to only be sellable with female character dolls. They can't do, like, as Disney goes, they can't do male action figures. everything has to be a female doll or some kind of animal and or some kind of non-humanoid creature that can be sold as an accessory with said doll.
This is like company policy.
At this point, basically, may as well be.
Honestly, it's baked into their formula at this point.
Huh.
Like,
am I saying this is a?
I mean, it's not. You're not wrong. I've
Right,
never
like-
seen a Disney like male character.
Exactly, right?
Like you probably have seen a Kristoff.
And
I was gonna say you've seen Kristoff,
something.
but it always is as an accessory that comes with the fucking
Anna,
yeah, the sled and the elk and all that, the reindeer, whatever the fuck he is.
Sven, yeah.
Yeah, that comes with all of that to be a peripheral to the Anna doll,
Yeah.
which itself so fucking unpopular. Because of course, all the kids wanted Elsa, the girl with the fucking magic powers.
Ain't nobody care about
Who gives a
Anna.
damn about Anna?
She got 0 powers. What?
For anybody who knows, y'all know I don't care for fucking Frozen, but the reason I know about this is because I worked at Toys R Us at the time, which is also the reason I don't care for Frozen. I think
Bane
Frozen,
of his existence.
bane of my fucking existence. Yeah, no, it was the weirdest shit of them trying to push.
Wait, do you have the Elsa doll in stock though?
It wasn't the doll that was the problem; it was the fucking backpacks.
What?
It was the
Yeah.
backpacks.
Oh,
guess-
every little girl wanted an Elsa backpack for like 3 years straight. Every year, like every time back to school season was coming around, the first thing to come in and the first thing to go were Elsa backpacks.
They just couldn't let it go, could they? I had to. I'm sorry. I had to. I'm sorry. Don't kick me out, please.
Ruben, I think you really need to let it go. You ever think about going to therapy so you can?
Yeah, I probably should.
Don't hold it back anymore.
Strap him down like Clockwork Orange and make him watch.
Peerless Island's back.
Fucking hated this. I hate it. And I love Christmas as a holiday. I hate it when it came around at Toys R Us.
Because you knew they'd have that on written.
All they would do was just repeat that song over.
They
and
kept the
over
merchandise up for 3 years.
Again. Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
You realize Frozen did numbers that fucking blew Tangled? Like Tangled, Brave, and Princess and the Frog came out before that. And those may as well not have existed.
Yeah, it's their most. I
I
think
mean, it still is, I guess.
they've made the most money off that film than any other film or thing they've ever done.
Right.
Because of merchandising
Of
alone,
merchandising. and
essentially.
yeah, it is.
I mean, I know people that Frozen is just a core component of their personality now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since Frozen and Tangled released, they pretty much copy paste. They tried
Pretty
to,
much. More or less.
since then.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense because Frozen wasn't that good.
No.
The numbers don't lie, I guess. It's hard to say it's not good when it makes fucking buku amounts of money.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't amazing. Tangled was better.
I would say so, too.
Way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everybody's kid loved Frozen.
Frozen for whatever reason.
And
And
it
as I
wasn't-
think about it, I
it
still
had
don't know what the
A
impetus
cool
is.
character and really good music associated with that character.
A
Yeah.
cool character, literally.
I caught that pun. I wasn't going to say anything, but you know.
I wasn't sure if you purposely.
I wish I was that clever.
Like, oh my goodness. I think it definitely was like having that song, a very easily singable song. And it was really the start of like corporate virality, I guess. Of like, it was one of like the first real Disney songs that went viral in a social media sense and was able to get passed around YouTube and shit.
Maybe there's just something resonating with the youth that we don't know about. Like, oh, I'm a loser. I'm running away from home. Were they emo?
They're just getting more emo at earlier ages, ain't they?
and they hear that song, they're like, oh.
They're starting younger and younger every year.
Every generation feels the need to release stress and an inability to do so.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. Don't you hate it when you touch the shit in your house and it turns to fucking ice?
Don't you hate it when you almost kill your sister?
Don't you hate it when
And
you
your
want to
parents
kill your
lock you
sister and
away?
then she's like,
Don't
no.
you
No,
hate it when you get raised in your bedroom but then still have an idea what your responsibilities as a princess are? Also, you live in a fully staffed castle and form no relationships with any of the other people in said castle and are just a hermit for your entire life.
And your
Also,
parents are dead.
Also, your sister's a dumbass and decides to marry the first man that shows her any like attention.
Yeah.
Wait,
For
you
the
haven't
first-
seen it.
Who scheduled the ball? Like, who did that?
I don't remember actually. Why was that a thing?
It
Oh,
just.
It was Elsa's coronation or
I
whatever.
know it was her
but-
coronation, but who was like, now we do the coronation, right? Who was the interim head? There was a whole country that needed to get fucking ran while Elsa hid in her room, right? Like,
Yeah,
what
there
the?
should be some like evil like Duke character or something.
There was
There should
someone.
be.
Well,
but
yes, but like the
he
guy
wasn't-
running the country.
I want to point out right quick that Wish is such a bad movie. We've completely stopped talking about it to talk about a different movie.
A different movie that was slightly definitely
It was
better.
definitely better.
Definitely better.
Ooh, none of
But
us
also
find
it
it
was
interesting
pretty good,
enough.
Just like, but so many of like the like internal structure and logic of the world was just kind of like hand waved in the name of meeting copy paste plot points,
Right.
which
Yeah.
really bugged me.
It's not for you.
I
It's
know
for
it
the
was
kids.
for
It's
me,
for the
it was
children.
children, and the.
The children yearn for the ice.
I've never been mad about the success of Frozen. I think that it was successful for a reason, but there was a lot that I was just like,
Yeah, like this movie is popular for reasons that don't make a lot of sense. But I was like a 20-some-odd-year-old man when I thought that.
The what are the rock troll things?
yeah.
I had no idea that those even existed before I watched the movie. Like, they don't show up.
Well, I mean, they only show up
anything.
in the movie.
Yeah.
So, like, if you don't watch the movie, you'll never see the movie. You'll never see
Yeah.
the rock trolls.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I legitimately don't know what those are.
dang.
I
I
realized you were
legitimately
talking
have
about the
no
second.
idea
I was
what
trying to
they
make a joke about watching the first movie. I realized you were talking about the second movie. But
Are you talking about
they dead ass save.
Wait, the rock
Anna's
trolls
like-
that raised Kristoff?
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are in the first movie.
Yeah.
They raised Kristoff.
Like the champagne.
And they save her from the.
They raised Kristoff.
Apparently.
When did we establish that?
They
They
did
did. They did.
in their song.
Did you
Huh?
watch Frozen? Did you get forced to watch Frozen with your sisters? Is that the deal that goes on?
I watched this shit so many times.
Yeah,
He's repressed it.
Look,
It's
I
okay.
never.
it's okay.
There's not a lot I watched with my sisters, but there's a lot that was on in the background while I was existing. In
So
the
I was
same
gonna say that's the
proximity.
difference.
Right. But I have sat down
And watched Frozen?
at least 3 times, right? Just because it's been around so much, right?
Right.
And I have no memory of Kristoff having any relation to the rock trolls. I thought he was just a mountain man.
Nah,
That's essentially what he
brings-
is.
but he technically
he
is.
takes them to
Technically
the
what it
trolls, and they're like, "Oh, are you getting married or whatever?" Because they're like,
The only way to fix a fixer-upper, that whole song. Yeah. It's
they're
okay
like,
though
"Our
because
boy's
it's
getting married.
Y'all are revealing parts of this movie I didn't know existed.
What the fuck? How did they get a human boy?
I don't know if they explain that.
Because parents are dead. That's all you have to know is that they raised them for reasons.
Yeah.
They stole him. They stole him.
Yeah,
stole
I
it
don't
for
think they
sure.
explained how they got him.
It was vengeance.
Which that's the least of my worries personally. Like there's a lot of cartoons that
That's another hand wave ass plot point. Like, why is he?
Because he
It is a hand wave, but there's so many that do that hand wave. I can't fault Disney for that.
they needed some connection so that the trolls could save her from the frozen heart.
Yeah, but they already did that.
But then, what happened? God, why are we just?
I don't know. Does Edda have spring powers? Is that the thing that revealed by the end of that movie?
No.
Or does Elsa just stop being a bitch?
Elsa.
Because I thought Anna's whole deal is that she brings spring back.
Now, the power of love.
Yeah. It's the power of the love between the two sisters that brings.
Unfreezes Elsa's heart. Which
Power of
Yeah.
incest.
Elsa freezes herself and everything around her to save
I remember that.
Anna.
Yeah,
And then,
Anna's love for her unfreezes Elsa.
yeah.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah. The sisterly love that they have for each other.
Anna really is metaphorically spring.
I thought that was the deal.
guess.
I
No,
didn't
it's
think
not
about
explicit.
that.
I
for
just
sure.
thought that was the deal because like
No, they don't.
everything
do
I
that.
know of her is that like you get to the end of it and she I remember that's when she gets like the white streaks in her hair and shit.
Yeah.
And I was always like, oh, they give her spring powers at the end of the movie.
See, that would be good. That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah,
That would
okay,
be an
fair enough.
interesting choice. I think you're being very generous.
Yeah, you could make sequels off of that theme.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a theme that has happened a lot. You have the heat miser and snow miser right there. You could just do it.
But instead, in the second one, they make Elsa the fifth element.
Excuse the power of love.
Not even that.
Okay.
It's
Are you talking like Fifth Element, the movie?
no,
Oh.
like
Suspenders?
water, earth, fire, air, whatever.
Yeah,
And she's the fifth element.
which is usually love.
no,
What the fuck?
it's ice, dummy.
Stupid.
I'm sorry, did you say Elsa or Anna?
Elsa.
Oh, I was not.
Anna
I
was-
glazed over that name so
Oh,
bad.
around
oh yeah, okay. Me
destroying-
saying dummy is
No, you're
I'm being
right.
sarcastic there because it's dumb.
Yeah, it's such a dumb.
I should watch Frozen 2 again.
She's the fifth element of ice, you know, that not secondary thing to water that in every version of like any elemental powered based story.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a more explanation on
You
it.
couldn't
in
have just had
Frozen
you
3.
Well, I
could- oh,
It's gonna happen, but
It's been announced.
it's been announced.
Oh, it
yeah.
has
Like they're working on it actively.
Oh,
Yes.
damn, what?
Something like
Oh,
that,
I
you know,
mean,
after the
pretend
whole
to be
writer strike
surprised.
shit.
The
Anyway, we digressed majorly, but again,
We really did.
like Frozen 2 is really about reconciling with like colonialism.
he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I know
either.
nothing about. As much as I say I don't know anything, I've never watched Frozen 1, but I was around it, exposed to it enough that I picked up shit by osmosis. I know nothing about Frozen 2, other than it is a movie that I was pissed off got made.
I
See,
don't
the
know enough
reason
about
why I know this
colonialism.
is because I've listened to Witch Please. So
Okay.
there are two camps, right? There are people who really like Frozen 2 because there are children, and Anna Elsa does cool ice shit.
Yeah.
And then there's everybody else who doesn't really kind of get the plot, and they're kind of like, "This is a movie." And then there's academics who are like, "They finally did it. They finally made a movie about reconciling with colonialism. That's pretty fucking sweet." Also, Elsa's pretty cool, I guess.
Define reconciling with colonialism.
The whole narrative about Frozen 2 is about undoing or counteracting basically like the sins of their parents and of their
Okay.
restrained nature when they first came and like settled the land.
Okay.
And specifically, they had to like destroy a dam that's like restraining like water or spirits. I actually don't remember a lot about the plot because I was depressed, but yeah. But from what I understand, there's like there's a lot of themes of like nature and spirituality and reconciling with like what was done to.
The reason I ask for clarification because usually when I hear the word reconcile, it is coming to terms with. It's usually the way I hear it. So it's like, yeah, she was just kind of becoming okay with the fact that she had to do some colonializing,
We just have to
colonizing.
accept it.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, we just got to figure that one out.
I could have picked a better term there, but I didn't want to say.
No, I think the term reconciliation still works. I was just like, I have a connotation for the term reconciliation, but that's fucking interesting.
Yeah.
So all that to say, Wish,
Wish.
meh.
Yeah, not great. We didn't dive too much into it. Watch some videos on YouTube. Pretty much everybody.
I was gonna say, what is this? Carrie Too Tired?
Yeah, Carrie Too
That's probably your
Tired
best
does
one.
a really good job explaining the good aspects of it, but also why it ultimately is just not good.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, I'm gonna sit down and watch this video. I've been should have sat down and watched it like 2 weeks ago when you first shared it, but
yeah, she does a really good job explaining, and she keeps it interesting.
nice.
The explanations.
We
throughout
also
the video.
have a conspiracy theory, but
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna get into that.
Which conspiracy theory?
That the story is about kind of Disney's
Oh,
hold
yeah.
on copyrights and
Yeah, that was the other part of. Okay, so the thing is, me and Kent, and then at a later date, me, Kent, and Izzy had this conversation about this movie like Formz like could not wait to like start ripping into this fucking movie one night. So we're just I forget what I was even doing up in the kitchen, but we were
like
just starting to
brimming
talk
at the
about it.
seams. I was like, I need to get this off my chest.
I think it was like a Sunday. I think I was doing dishes.
He was like a big South pimple ready to pop.
Literally.
Yeah.
And this was weeks ago, so I've kind of simmered down now and kind of, it hasn't been on the forefront of my mind recently, so things are a little fuzzy right now, but like, oh man, I was in talkative mode.
Just in his description of it, like, this movie was fucking terrible. And it's crazy because it's like, it's doing this. So it's like the main bullet point here is like, it's doing this whole, all this, no one man should have all that power. Like, quite literally, your antagonist has a level of power that he does not allow anybody else to have. And your entire movie and Asha's whole quest is about going, everyone should be able to have that power or something like that. And it's like, man, that's a real rich coming from Disney, the company that has been in so much legal hot water over its possible monopolization going on. We didn't know till like
Possible.
Oh, the alleged monopolization going on.
Mm-hmm.
But there's the other fun part of the reason why it's probably not that great is the director of this movie was the head of story on Raya the Last Dragon.
Yeah.
Which was not a good Disney movie.
It was not great.
Yeah, the fact that y'all don't even know what the movie is should tell you right there. Raya the Last Dragon was
that
came out before Encanto, right?
Oh yeah, that was made around a pandemic.
Okay, yeah.
Which is another potential reason why
some of this. Yeah.
It probably didn't do as great.
Right.
Because I think it was like their first movie that everybody did stuff remotely.
Yeah.
I remember them dropping a trailer for this after Frozen. Did they do that? Am I thinking of that?
After Frozen 2?
After Frozen 2,
probably. That sounds about right.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing images, but...
Yeah, I remember hearing it wasn't great.
Yeah.
And
this was one of the ones that was definitely supposed to appeal to international audiences, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they had...
didn't do a good job.
They had what's-her-face in it.
The dragon looks like... The design is sort of like MLP.
Yeah.
A little bit. What's the actress's name?
Awkwafina?
Awkwafina, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She voiced the dragon. And she has is she Asian or
she is
or Korean?
Well, I mean, that is in a subset of Asian.
She's a brand of water. I don't understand.
I am not entirely certain what nationality Awkwafina is.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to say Vietnamese, but I'm not entirely certain where that is coming from.
But
they could have just done a good animated reboot of...
If you're about to say Mulan, I'm about to fight you. Because they didn't do a good reboot. Oh, animated
like they did a
reboot.
live action.
They did a fucking live action reboot of Mulan and stripped away all the parts that made Mulan great as a movie.
They should not have said it
They
was
should just remake...
Korean American.
Oh, okay.
They should just not remake.
Wait.
We've had that conversation many a times.
She was born to a Chinese American and a Korean American. Sorry.
Okay, she's Chinese American.
And Korean American.
And Korean American.
Did a bit everything.
She's all up in that.
It was so funny reading her Wikipedia page in the context of us talking about her starring in a Disney movie. When I was like, she gained popularity in 2012 with her rap song "My Vag."
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What? Because I know she's a comedian of sorts. I know like her main shtick is that kind of humor.
Yeah.
I also know she was the main character in Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I still got to see.
Was
I
she
have
the
not
main?
seen.
Wait.
Or at least she was in it. I want to say she's the main character. Well, remember, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't fucking know.
Wait,
I saw the
watch
movie.
That. I want to watch that really bad.
Have you not seen it?
No.
I've
It's
not
really
seen it
good.
either.
Well,
Nigga, that's what I just said.
I remember you talking about it before, saying you haven't seen it. I'm surprised Fluff hasn't seen it.
Oh, yeah.
But
I don't watch movies.
Same.
I mean, I really don't.
Unless
either.
I have people to like watch them with other people who are trying to go. I usually don't.
Right.
We should definitely watch that. I don't think she's a main character. I wouldn't be surprised if she's in it though.
I thought she was the main character of
She's in Crazy Rich Asians.
that too.
Now I need to know.
Kung Fu Panda 4.
Yep.
Know that.
She's one of the main characters in that. That was a good movie too.
She was in Little Mermaid.
Wait, which one? The live?
Live, yeah.
Who did she voice?
She was the seagull.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. I'm just being racist.
Is she not in there at all though?
Might not be.
Oh.
I could have swore she was doing a press tour with
I wouldn't be surprised if she was
Sandra Oh, wasn't she?
if she was somehow like affiliated with this movie somehow. I wouldn't be surprised. Like if she was kind of like helping to direct it or something. Like I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
Nope. I'm just racist. What movie was that she did with Sandra Oh?
I'm going to just play a little bit of My Vag while we're doing this.
Oh,
So anyway, yeah, Awkwafina is not Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm just racist. Is there any last thoughts about Wish? I don't even care about this fucking movie anymore.
yeah, no, just if you're mad that I'm not getting too deep into why I don't like Wish, I'm just tired of talking about it because I've already expressed how much I don't like it and the reasons. If you want to really know why, again, check out Carrie Too Tired. Check out her video on it where it's titled Wish is an Insult to the Disney Formula, because it is. So go watch it and learn about it because, yeah. It's
and then when you're done with that YouTube video, don't watch the movie. Go watch Hoodwinked.
Yes. Good movie.
If you can find it, good luck.
You'll be able to pirate it somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
That's fair.
Definitely.
Go to My House.
Yes. And his house, the address is.
I wish I could remember the addresses well enough for that.
DVD.
Speaking of shit we watched, though, we just finished up a series last night.
Hey.
And we caught up on the Fallout series, which is...
Have any of you played Fallout?
Nope. So
Not at all.
You're getting this from people who have not
know nothing about the Fallout series.
I know some of the lore because I was very interested by the Fallout series.
Fair.
But
I've played 3 and 4.
Nice.
Oh,
So-
okay. So you're okay.
get out.
Did you watch the series too?
No, I haven't.
It was
Oh,
the very
interesting.
fun. It was the very fun thing. Fluff comes in and goes, "We need to watch the Fallout series." I was like, "Sweet, did you play it?" He was like, "No, I just heard it's really good." So we sit down and start watching it. And at one point, like, there's like, it's a fucking show based off a video game. They're throwing out references and like, I'm like, I turn to Fluff and I go, "Hey, is this connected to a plot point in the games?" He was like, "I don't know." I
don't know.
He was like, "I thought y'all played," and I was like, "I didn't." And
I'm like,
Kent was like,
no.
it was like, "Has anyone in this room played Fallout?" No.
But my fiance has, and apparently she's played like all of them.
Really?
Wow.
Apparently,
I
Did
thought
she get the
didn't
gold
like-
name in 76?
I don't know.
Did she get bullied endlessly?
I don't know, and I could just be pulling that out my ass. But I remember her saying she at least has played like the 4th one and some other few.
As far as I know,
So-
New Vegas, Fallout 4 and Fallout 3 are like the 3 main ones
Yeah.
that anyone cares about playing.
But she likes RP type stuff.
No, she doesn't. She's strictly said she does not like RP.
Oh, really?
Well, she likes RP,
Mm.
but she doesn't like RPGs,
Yeah,
Like, she's
she
much more
said
of a
that she
hack and
doesn't
slash.
like that. Yeah.
which is very shocking to me. 'Cause
I mean, she well, yeah, because it's like she loves like, well, I guess it's an RPG necessarily, but like The Sims.
Right.
Fallout's an RPG.
Yeah, Fallout is an RPG, and that's what I'm
Really
saying. It's so
interesting to just be
shocking.
like a Kingster, but not.
I know nothing about the gameplay of the newest ones, so maybe it's a little more action that she would like. You did say that too quiet. I have no idea what you tried to say.
It's okay.
But yeah, no, that's interesting that she played the Fallout series.
And
Either way,
she played like Elder Scrolls, Skyrim too.
that makes sense. I get that because that's an action RPG.
The whole Fallout series is basically like each game is sort of just somebody's else's like geological location from basically when everything got nuked.
See, the thing is, that was my question to Fluff. I was like, "Oh, is this?" No, the question was, "Is this following any particular one of the games?"
Oh, I gotcha.
And that's when you find out he knows
Probably
nothing about
not.
it.
I
Yeah,
would think they would do a new story.
it seems like it is.
There might be like there's probably like homages to like quests and stuff.
It definitely is.
Yeah,
Like you, even not knowing much about the series, like you can definitely tell like there's some stuff being thrown in there that's very much like we were watching the last episode and I was like 3 times I was like, that's a reference that someone who's played these games is really enjoying right now.
Yeah.
Like,
And I messaged Michaela afterwards and I was like, we just finished. And it's like, yeah, I really wish I would have understood some of the references. And she's just like, yeah, did you see the thing and the thing at the end? And I was like,
yeah, probably.
I saw it.
Definitely saw it.
I don't know how it relates to the game, but I did see it.
But I did see it. Like,
So she was like really hype about it. So, and said that they did an amazing job, adapting that. And if it is true that all the games are just a different perspective of the, event, that's probably why, because they didn't really have to follow someone's very specific perspective.
yeah.
If that's the case, they could kind of tell another person's story.
Yeah.
And it just works within the world.
It can definitely be you can throw in a lot of references to shit that you would know from the game going on in the background of this world. It'd also be pretty cool, like if we were to find out like the whole like deal of the last episode is a major like side element or plot point in one of the games.
Yeah, because it's a pretty significant shift to the world.
Do we want to do a spoiler cast on this right quick?
I think we should do it at some point, but have we gotten through everything we want to that's not spoilery?
Yeah.
I'm trying to, because what I was going to mainly talk about is the characters and how one of them in particular I just don't like, and I think that's just going to cross into spoiler territory.
I mean, honestly,
pretty
everything
quickly.
that we've talked about, we've always put like some kind of spoiler thing on
This
it
is
because
true.
we do talk about spoilers. So
Yeah.
spoilers.
Right. So like, yeah,
From
spoilers
this
from
point
this point on
forward.
for the Fallout series on Amazon.
I was gonna say y'all are gonna have to play the game and have like the reverse reaction.
Yeah.
Like that was in the series.
Show. What the fuck?
I don't have time for that.
Neither do I. Like the
I
show
wanna be in
is
high school again.
right.
Bruh.
Just to have nothing to do with my time but sit and play video
have
games.
no responsibilities.
I know,
Oh, that
right?
sounds great.
So the show is absolutely fun. I like our main character Lucy. Like I love how just sheltered she is. Like completely oblivious to how the world could actually work.
Mm-hmm.
She's smart, but not too smart.
Right. They make sure to point out that she is trained in combat. So it makes anything going on outside her vault make sense with her, that she can in fact fight.
And she's also not like too strong.
Right. Like she gets her shit rocked. She gets her shit handed to her on a couple
yeah.
of occasions by characters that it makes sense to get her shit handed to her.
And I hadn't thought about that actually. Like just the way she was introduced in that first episode.
Yeah.
I think was really good.
It was a great way to do it.
Like,
And I
throughout
think that also
episode.
aligns with some of the mechanics from the games.
Yeah. Like
'cause-
why your character can fucking fight in this hostile ass world you just woke up in.
Because I think they have you go through your special.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like strength, perception. I'm not gonna go through it because I
Right.
don't know what it is. But
We basically set up, they set up in the show in the first, literally like not the first 5 minutes, because the first 5 minutes sets up like nuclear fallout, nuclear warfare just happened. But the first 5 minutes into her part of the story, you find out basically she's a model citizen in the vault. Like she is if you were to give people a ranking in the vault, she ranks up pretty fucking high, because the whole deal is for her to get married off to somebody in a different vault and get to finally have a child of her own and procreate and all that fun jazz.
the traditional get wifed up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another aspect of me that like how forward she is about having sex is like this very matter of fact, like she asks for sex the way people ask to like go out on a date. Like, and the way I find that so fucking hot.
Literally, the first question I think that she asked her soon-to-be husband is,
What's your
"So,
sperm count?"
What's your sperm count? Just like that too. Not
Just like-
weird about it. Not like hesitant. No, just
She
like
meets him, learns his name, gets married. They're sitting down at the reception. She just goes,
They're enjoying cornbread.
yeah.
"So what's your sperm
What's
count?"
your sperm count?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't counted them lately.
Yeah. Like he just doesn't answer the question.
And even later on in the series too, she ends up asking a character's like, "Do you want to have sex?"
Like literally, like was it the last episode or the episode before it?
It was. I think it was almost 3 or 4 because it was when they first got shunked down.
That's right. It would have been episode. How long was this series? Was it 8 episodes?
Yeah, I think it was 4 specifically.
I don't think 4. I think it would have been
5. Wait,
5.
Because we were on 5.
Sorry, 6, 7, 8.
So
it would have been episode 6. Yeah, at episode 6, she just straight up goes to the other protagonist, and it's kind of interesting because anyone who's ever watched TV can kind of tell that they're moving towards there being a romantic like entanglement with these two characters, but as the universe goes, there's never any real moment for either one of these two to grow any kind of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But you literally just get a point where, and the character's name is Maximus. He is our other protagonist. He is with the Brotherhood after the last nuke was dropped, because you find out that although Lucy's like family and shit has been living in the vaults for 200 some odd years to repopulate the earth after the last nuke drops, come to find out there's a whole thing where, luckily we're in spoiler alert territory already. Yeah, the company that built the vaults is just constantly dropping nukes outside.
They're the ones doing the nuke drop.
They're the ones doing the nuke dropping because it keeps them in business, which I don't know how that works.
Well, I wouldn't say constantly dropping the nuke. At this point, it's more about maintaining power and control.
But it's like that power and control doesn't make sense. Or I guess the idea is they need to be the ones to recolonize the earth so that they can maintain their power, I guess is what they're trying to get at. But either way, you find out they drop another nuke like 20 years before where the story is now, which is 180 some odd, almost 200 years after.
I think it was 200.
Well, so there was the first nuke that dropped that put everybody in the vaults. 200 years after that, another nuke gets dropped. And then the story takes place like 20 years after that, almost 20, like 19 years or so.
Okay, based on the timelines they were giving, I thought that it was 200.
No, it's
I think
220. That's why Maximus was like, what do you mean?
Oh, that's right, because Maximus isn't fucking 200 years
Yeah,
old.
he survived he survived the second nuke.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we find out that Lucy's mother
And Birdie is like from Shady Sand,
Yeah.
I think in the last episode they have like a chalkboard that like goes over pretty much the entire timeline of the nuke drop. I did not get a good look at it.
I didn't do the maths either.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look at it myself, but I think if we were to like go back to it, we could see like
Actually,
in
I'm gonna look
chronological
this up
order.
because
they
they gave numbers, but I didn't track it.
Yeah, it was 219 years post the first nuke is when the story starts, and then we find out that another nuke, the one that Maximus survived, was only almost like 20 years ahead of where the story is right now, because he was just straight up a kid who comes out of who like survives it by being inside of a refrigerator, which is a reference to a number of things.
Indiana Jones.
I was trying to think of what the movie was, but yeah, Indiana Jones does it. A few other pieces of media have done it, but because of Indiana Jones, where you survive a nuclear blast by hopping in a refrigerator.
Is it true?
I think Mythbusters debunked.
I think they debunked that for pretty good. But yeah, so she and Maximus. So Maximus is on his thing because he's a part of the Brotherhood. He becomes a squire of a knight of the Brotherhood. At some point, that knight dies. They kind of make it very ambiguous whether like Maximus kills him or he just lets the dude die from his injuries and shit. But I think they pretty much definitively say that he dies from his injuries at that point. Maximus never really kills him outright, but Maximus lets his knight die, basically assumes his identity and is going forward in the giant mech suit that the knights get to wear, and goes through his own shenanigans. And at some point he meets up with Lucy after his secret gets found out because he lets it out and someone steals his power core out of his suit. And that's how him and Lucy are starting to travel together, right?
Wait, what? Sorry, where are we? I was looking at time.
Oh, that's fine. So just how Maximus and Lucy start traveling together. At a certain point, they find themselves in a vault 4. The 3 initial vaults you start off in are 31, 2, and 3. But Lucy manages to make her way over to vault 4 somehow, gets in there, and literally, and this just comes back to what he said, they're just literally sitting on these gurneys in a quarantine for a little bit, and Lucy Maximus goes, "You smell nice." mind you, him and Lucy both have been in the wilderness, like just in the fucking nuclear wasteland that is like the Earth for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Like no clean water anywhere.
No clean water, desertscape everywhere. Like
they're probably sweating, musty, nasty, ashy, all the above.
And like Maximus just goes, "You smell nice," and she goes,
she like smells herself for a second.
And Fluff is the one who put this together because I was like, "What the fuck is she? What?" But he was like, "Oh no, natural pheromones are probably coming off right now." Like that pussy stank real good right now. Like that's probably what's going on.
Because she just goes, "Oh,"
and then she just turns to him and goes, "Would you like to have sex?" Like
just very casual.
So casual because that's the normal progression of shit. The way that she was raised, it actually does create a really interesting commentary on our views of sex. Mm-hmm. And the how weirdly taboo sex is for it to be a natural biological function required to keep the human race going.
I kind of wonder if this is just like, see, to me, this seems almost like one of the dialogue options that you get in that.
It probably is. Like, reminder, none of us have any experience with the game, so it very much could be.
Is it a dialogue-esque?
I mean, there can be some like wild options that you can pick from that are like kind of out of the blue.
Fair enough. Shit, I'll believe it.
Mm-hmm. That would be a really like funny meta way to integrate that too.
That would be a really interesting meta way. But to get back to Maximus, he has to be, I would say there are 3 main protagonists. Well, technically 4, I guess. Even though one of them is a bit secondary to his sister. Yeah. But there's, on the surface of the world, there's 3 main protagonists you follow. There's Lucy herself, there's Maximus, and then there's the Ghoul. You get to follow him. In my opinion, the Ghoul, coolest character. Like, I love that character. Mm-hmm. Every time he's on screen is like such a good time.
Deeply flawed, but a very cool character.
Yes, deeply flawed, a piece of shit through and through, but is a... No, he's not.
No.
He actually very much isn't.
Yeah.
But he's like, he's on a...
I'm going to mention something in that in a second.
He's on a blood quest to find his family, right?
Yeah.
But he's the kind of man who will shoot another man's child in the progress in order to get to where he's going.
Yeah, he's very much meant to like represent a product of the landscape. He's really meant to show he's the foil to Lucy's like vault life, right?
Yeah. Excellent. Man.
Lucy is what you get when you've only known peace and comfort your whole life, even in this scenario, which is kind of fucked up because you're living in the vault. But as far as she knows, she's only known peace and comfort her whole life. So the idea of she gets out to the real world and like, but everyone's supposed to do the right thing and you treat others, you go by the golden rule and you like, so I'm going to talk to you really very diplomatically and like hold my hand out for a handshake, regardless of who you are, because like you just implicitly trust other people because you're people. We're civilized. We're supposed to be good. The Ghoul character is, I spent the last 200 fucking years in a grave being kept alive by somebody else for God knows what reason. And I'm also one of the best gunslingers out here because I'm a product of this place, represented by the fact that he has a ghoul's face. Like he literally doesn't have a fucking nose. And he looks almost, it's kind of funny how much he looks like Ryan Reynolds Deadpool.
Yeah.
But he's basically Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, but more like Red Skull in appearance. Mm-hmm. But he's very much the rootin' tootin' cowboy who will shoot anyone with no remorse. He has no, like one of the first altercations you get is him shooting the leg off a man and then stabbing his dog when the dog comes to defend him. Like one of the first things you see him do is stab a dog. Mm-hmm. And then the third thing you see him do is save the dog. You very much figure out real fast he's going to be he's an antagonist in the moment, but he's going to become a protagonist at some point. And by the end of the last episode, you straight up find out he's just another protagonist now. Protagonist being just someone you follow in the story. The story is one of the main characters, not necessarily a good person. Protagonist and antagonist do not correlate with good and evil. That is not how those words work. A little literature lesson for you. But that's my favorite character. Lucy, like I said, so him and Lucy kind of have this like very, very opposite views of the world as it is right now. The ghoul you end up finding out is the cowboy that you get the thumbs up image from. So the vault boy, you find out that his character is the one that pretty much gives that image, because he plays a really famous cowboy in the 50s. And so he starts doing a tour when like the Cold War is going on. He starts giving he basically becomes a spokesperson for Vault Tech, and is like, because his wife works for Vault Tech as one of the managers there or some shit. She does something very high up.
Yeah, they don't really make it very. She does important job.
She does very important job at Vault Tech, and it doesn't become super important until the last 2 episodes. But you find that out, and so he's like a spokesperson for Vault Tech, and like
wearing their
the whole get up
uniform and everything.
And so in the press tours and shit, you get him doing the thumbs up. And also the thing about the thumbs up is, if a bomb ever drops, you hold your thumb up to it, and if it's smaller than your thumb, you're okay. But if it's bigger than your thumb, you need to run or some shit like that.
I think if it's bigger than your thumb, you're just dead. If it's smaller than your
it's
thumb,
too late
you
to
get
run.
to run.
Yeah. And so that's where, and so it's a really good way. I don't know if that's exactly the lore in the Fallout series of where that comes from, but it's a really cool way to tie that in. And you find out that you find out this ghoul has been alive since the first bomb dropped, and you find out real fast it was him. It's him. He's the guy. And I forget why I even got on that, but that's
just explaining his character.
Yeah, that's your ghoul. So that's who the ghoul is. That's how him and Lucy are literally just opposite characters.
You mentioned something about him not being racist or something.
Oh, that was another point about the setup. And I turned to you and said this. I think you were still in the room. It was like, it's real interesting how this is a alternate reality of America in which it is everything about the 1950s, except it's not super racist.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was talking more about, does he ever say smooth skin?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I think
ghouls-
another character says smooth skin.
Yeah, ghouls in Fallout, some of them are sort of like racist against smooth skin.
I mean, it's very much a step in allegory for colored people. I.e. the ghouls are colored people and therefore have their own languages for the oppressive class. But yeah, no, smoothies is a term. He's never one who says it, interestingly. But they really go out of their way to, like, every time they shoot back to before the first bomb dropped to show his character and what he's doing with his family and shit, they make it very clear he is the most upstanding guy.
Yeah.
He loves his wife. He loves his daughter. He likes everybody he works with for the most part, unless they're like fucking corporate puppets or some shit, and then he just doesn't want to be bothered with them. He is not a bad person at all, by any standard. Like, there is nothing nefarious going on in the background with him. There's no
Duplicitous. Like,
duplicity. Yeah,
he's not like cheating his wife. He's just very good.
just a good dude who
It's
makes
really
a lot of
about-
money being a really good actor.
Yeah. It's really about him discovering the corruption of the system that he's supporting.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which he doesn't even really want to support. He's really supporting his wife.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know what she does.
He doesn't really know what she does until finally he finds out from, of all people, our main bad guy, named Moldaver.
Yeah. I mean, bad guy.
Your main
she's
antagonist.
The main antagonist.
She
She definitely is an antagonist, but bad guy.
It is very ambiguous who the real villain in this story is.
The real villain
It's
is
capitalism.
capitalism.
And never
That's-
mind. That is actually pretty clear cut.
Yeah, I'm saying it. I usually say that shit as a joke, but no, in this scenario,
It is quite
like,
literally. You literally have a scene of the ghoul's wife in a board meeting with the most cabal looking, like, rich elites running shit behind the scenes in the shadows scene going on, to the point that one of the rich people is literally just a fat cat in, like, super big, like, can barely fit in his, like, pin suit, like, with jowls and everything, like the most stereotypical fat cat, like, caricature ever.
Kingpin.
Yeah.
More or less. Yeah.
Actually, you have like, is everybody there a different caricature of some kind? Because you have like a sleaze bag.
You have the sleaze bag, you have the fat cat, you have the woman,
you have the business, but like
you have
know
the
what I mean?
businesswoman, right? Like, who's like basically take any librarian and then put her in like any like librarian in an after school special and then make her a business person, right?
Yeah.
There was one other business person there. I can't think of who they were.
I don't remember. Sorry, I was just thinking to myself about, just like we have a woman in business, so therefore she has to abandon all feminine traits and be a complete bitch. Anyways,
yeah, it's not like she was a complete bitch. Is that she was just so robotic about it?
Yeah,
it's like she was representing the robotics part of it. Your fat cat was literally like, he says out loud, "What if we purposely overcrowd one of the vaults and then let them pick themselves off?" Like the most evil piece of shit ever, right?
Yeah.
The sleaze bag. I forget what is he Robcore? He's Robcore.
Yeah, Robcore. I think
that makes
I forget
robots that deliver milk or some shit.
The woman says the robots that deliver milk, I believe.
Is she the one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
One of them was talking about how robots should run the vaults or something like that.
Yeah. Basically, you get all of your worst talking points on how to capitalize on nuclear war.
They literally set themselves up to burn the world down to make a profit. Literally. Like it is the most clear-cut capitalism is the devil plot line ever. Which I'm all here for. So yeah, that's your two extreme ends of the trio. And then you have Maximus. And there's a reason there's a middle finger going on here. Maximus, when you're set up, so Maximus, as we said before, he survived a nuclear blast that happens 20 years before what's considered present day in the show. In the fridge show.
In the fridge. He gets out, he's saved or believes he's being saved by one of the knights of the Brotherhood, and therefore, like in that moment, dedicates his life to the Brotherhood. He joins up. It's your whole deal. Like literally the first thing we see of him is him getting his shit kicked by just a gang of other like recruits just beating his ass. And he's cleaning out the latrines and all that bullshit. One of his closest friend in the boot camp, they get promoted to being a knight, a squire of one of the knights, the guys in the giant mech suits. And the day after you find out that someone has put a razor in their boot and has fucked their leg up bad, so they can't be a squire. It's initially believed that Maximus is the one who did it out of jealousy, and somehow he gets out of it. I forget how. Oh no!
Literally, he has a conversation with one of the people,
with the elder, and goes, "I will do whatever I have to do to prove it." And the elder goes, "Well, good, then you'll be the squire then."
I think in that moment, his decision was this kid's either going to prove himself to me or he's going to die.
Yeah,
because he probably knows the turnover, the amount of death that happens to the squires.
Right.
He's thinking, you know what? If this kid really wants to go out and kill himself, he'll go out and kill himself, or he'll prove himself.
Exactly. Right.
At least that was my interpretation.
Yeah. And so that's how he basically gets the job of a squire of a knight, which is, once again, he just becomes a fucking doormat and a punching bag for someone with more power than him. He's very much in the middle of the road of, I have a cause to believe in, but I live in this world that is very ruthless. Yeah. And so therefore I have to cling to the structures and rigid structures in which I was born in, even though he eschews that shit immediately.
Well, he ends up as you see him in this bottom level of this very transparent cycle of violence, of these like squires that get trod upon, that become knights that trod upon people. Yeah. And you see him as this squire getting trod upon. Yeah. Like, and then as soon as he gets an opportunity
as soon as he gets the opportunity to have power that he's always wanted, because like that's the whole deal, is that he's in this, every recruit who's in this boot camp is there to become a knight, even though there's only like 5 of them knights, I think, in total.
No, I think there's probably more than we see.
Yeah,
right. But they don't deploy that many at a time.
They really don't. But yeah, so he gains power. He, like I mentioned this earlier, in one of the first excursion he's out on, they get fought by by
Like
a mutated bear.
Yeah.
And that bear manages to fuck up his night, and he manages to kill the bear, but the knight is just a whole total piece of shit.
Not only does the knight not try to, the knight sees the bear, goes, oh shit,
just fucking books it.
And after sending Maximus in is a very clear, like, transparent meat
You are here
shield,
to be
like,
a meat shield and to draw its attention while I fucking fuck it up.
To be a meat shield to the gigantic robot.
Right?
Yeah, and then the bear's attention goes onto the Tiberius the knight, and the Tiberius is like, oh god, it fucking books it.
Right. And then proceeds to get into a fight with the bear and loses until Maximus comes out and shoots it in the
He
head.
doesn't do shit.
He doesn't do shit. And it's
Do anything.
okay. Like, so here's the thing. I had a lot of fun with the Fallout series, right? The point of all of that is that Maximus is your in-between character of the trio. I did have fun with the series, and I'm excited for a season 2. However, there's definitely like a weird flip-flop in how some of the shit in that show works, especially when it comes to the Brotherhood. Anything revolving around the Brotherhood plot, I could have did completely without. Like, I did not care for Maximus.
Yeah.
In most cases of him, I don't give a flying fuck about yet another, like, we're a cult of personality that's representative of an army. Like, I just don't care for that kind of shit.
I
And
appreciate it thematically, but in terms of like Maximus's character and character arc and journey and everything about Maximus
it's just the weakest part of the show.
Yeah.
There's this whole thing of like how ridiculously powerful the suits are, and how every time they show off how ridiculously powerful these suits are, like you get a scene. So after the bugbear and after he lets his knight die, Maximus takes over the suit and he's out in the middle of the wasteland just doing random shit. You see this dude pick up a boulder, like one hand that bitch, and fucking send it miles just as a throw because it's a power suit. It's a mech suit.
Football fields.
Into
the ocean.
Right? The next scene after that, you have him in the middle of this shanty called this city called Philly, and he's fighting off with the ghoul. And you see him put his foot through a wooden floorboard and not be able to get it back out. This character we just saw chuck a 1-ton boulder like it was a fucking pebble. Can't pull his leg out of a rotted thin ass wooden board floor.
It should be like crunch. Oh shit.
Crunch. Like that should have been. No, he's legitimately struggling to pull his foot up. Like, and it makes little to no sense.
Because like, and the other thing is you don't need that, because in that situation, the goal is to show Maximus's incompetence, the ghoul's competence, and also the fact that the power suits are flawed, despite their like.
Except the problem is that when it's environmental like that, it doesn't show off any of that.
Exactly. It's just that was like a pretty lazy move.
Yeah. But he just spoke on it. One of the things you find out real quick is how incompetent Maximus is. Like, he is not going to be the character of like, he's the underdog with a heart of gold that knows what he's doing when the time comes for it. He does make the better decisions, generally speaking. Like, you can tell his humanity has not been completely eroded away. That's the main thing about Maximus you need to know, is that he grew up in a very rough situation and he has a lot of distrust because of that, but he is still a good person at the bottom of it all. He's still a good person. That's your main.
He's a good person.
No, what they're trying to tell you is that he still has a good heart at the bottom of it.
He has goodness in him.
Yeah. But almost most things he does kind of really just makes him not a great person either.
Then it's a question of, is it out of naivety or what is it? Ignorance? A lot of times.
I think it's naivety. Naivete.
I think it's a little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's a little bit because like the way that he
it's a potpourri of
relishes in
reasons.
violence.
Yeah.
Right? The way he relishes in like
this,
power.
which is understandable as he comes from the bottom rung, right? Yeah. When you're the doormat and now you get to be the person stepping on doormats, there's a moment in which you're going to like kind of relish in having power, and I get that. It's the part where he keeps flip-flopping on both And like one moment he's relishing in power, another moment he's trying to be the example of a knight he's always wanted to be, of what he's always saw the knights as a kid, of these like pillars of like justice and like justice. And so sometimes he's being that, and then sometimes he's being a whole dick. It is a little justifiable because after he steals the suit, he gets he gets a radio call from the Brotherhood of like, hey, you haven't checked in a while. And this is where another problem with Maximus comes in. The dude's a whole moron. Every sense of the fucking word. The dude's an entire idiot. He gets a call in from the Brotherhood, and instead of just ignoring it, answers it. And this is where he assumes the identity of Knight Titus comes in, because he literally plays it off as if he's the knight and just goes, this is Knight Titus.
Doesn't come up with a plausible
explanation. Doesn't try to figure out a good way out of this. Goes, my squire's dead.
So he says that he's dead.
And they're like, oh, sweet, we'll send you another squire. And he's like, no. Like,
and then rips.
And they're like, what? And he just rips the radio out of the suit. Like, he puts no thought into anything.
Maybe he failed the speech check.
Which I guess it could have been. Does Fallout do that?
Yeah.
Do they have the checks?
Oh, really? I thought you were joking, making a little Baldur's Gate joke or something.
Maybe.
Oh, no,
so maybe, honestly, this might come from the fact that none of us have. Charisma. Yeah, it could come from the fact that none of us, which they really show that off, that he has very low charisma. But he also has like a level of street smarts at times that make a lot of sense. So like, take the situation after the power core gets taken, he and the dude runs away with the head in the power core, right? When he and Lucy start setting off, one of the next scenes you see is them coming across the railroad bridge with the other couple that's on the other side. And he tells Lucy, and like, this is the moment where he shows off like a very tactical, like a very smart, like this dude knows how to read situations and military shit. Because he goes, Lucy, give me the fucking gun. These people are going to shoot us. Lucy refuses to let him have the gun that she's carrying. Granted, Lucy has been on the surface for like a week and a half at this point and has experienced the worst days of her life, has had to cut a man's head off by this point, as well as has been shot, has been used as bait, has had a finger cut off, and a bunch of other shit. She goes, no, if everyone just raise their hands and keep your hands visible, we'll all be real cool about this. And the other couple like act like, okay, sure. And so everyone starts crossing the bridge with their hands up. Halfway across the bridge, yet Maximus was right. These motherfuckers are like, they literally go, just reach for guns and like shoot at him. Maximus gets shot in the fucking arm. You find out with a rotten fucking human tooth. Like, people are literally just using their teeth as bullets in this landscape. And it's a moment where it's supposed to be another moment where Lucy realizes that like, your way of living does not work here. Like, you do not just get to assume the best of everybody around you. But it's a moment in which Maximus is shown to have a real bit of street smart. Like, and as some kind of level of battle tactic that we never see out of him again.
Pretty much, yeah.
We legitimately never see out of him again. Because the next thing that happens after that is they wind up in Vault 4, where this is the most egregious part of it. And I'm realizing my fucking voice is cracking in a really weird way. The most egregious thing they do to Maximus is they get Maximus down there. He's completely untrustworthy of everything going on in Vaults. Just like everybody on the surface, they don't trust anything to do with Vault Tech or any of the Vault dwellers and shit. He does not like this place. He's like, this place has a weird vibe. These people are like a cult. Because like, everyone in a Vault are the most friendly people you've ever met, no matter what Vault it is. Everyone is like super like nice and kind to each other type shit. And he's like, this is weird. This feels like a cult. At one point, he's exploring around, and he gets confronted by another character who basically presents him with the good life. Like, here's like, welcome to the Vault. Here's your unit. And he literally walks in and is like, he gets to put on a robe and slippers and takes a hot shower for the first time ever. Like,
hot shower? What's that?
He's like, the lady's like, don't you want to have a hot shower? He's like, what do you mean by hot? It's like, no, legitimately, he's never had heated water to wash up in. And so like he immediately just like all suspicion has gone away, which is the fine part. That's fine. Because like, yeah, he's experiencing a way of living. And like Lucy has sold him on this idea of vault living too, by the way. So he's like, shit, fuck it. Yeah. Also, we should have mentioned this with the when she like just looks at him and goes, "You want to have sex?
Do you want to make my cock explode now?"
His understanding of sex is this weird phenomena that happens in the male body in which your member down below swells up like a pimple and bursts. And it's this weirdly taboo thing that doesn't make a lot of sense that he feels that way, or at least I guess it makes sense that he feels that way. Yeah, it's just weird because one of the scenes, the opening scene in which you meet Maximus, one of the things is a dude just laying in like they're all in their barracks and there's just a dude just fucking jerking it under a cover. Like, so like sex is not this weird taboo thing, possibly on the surface, but he knows nothing about sex apparently. And has a very they didn't infantilize him as bad until these last 3 episodes.
Well, I feel like they cranked up. I feel like what his narrative are, they made you really not like him because of reasons like because just any character that has violence done to them and then flips and then immediately is like, you know what, I'm gonna just do this to other
I'm gonna
people.
do it too.
I immediately don't like them.
That's fair.
And they have him doing that. They have him just being a moron. They have him doing all this shit, and then where was I going with this? Fuck. I feel like they try to pull it back and give you an explanation.
Right.
Be like, this guy is actually,
super naive.
A 4-year-old that knows how to read.
Yeah.
Like
But it's like you had 5 episodes of this shit in which you did not establish that, or 6 episodes of this in which you did not establish that, and you're trying to establish it very quickly in a 1-hour runtime.
It feels like they suddenly try to give him complexity.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think it works with how they've characterized him. It just doesn't make me want to forgive him.
Yeah, he's just not an enjoyable character in most parts, in most ways. Like him and Lucy having a romance all of a sudden
pissed me off.
Is really
definitely weird. Definitely
it's really
weird.
Stupid.
Especially because they set it up like Lucy was educating him,
right?
Like, taking care of this man-child, which just doesn't work.
I wouldn't even say taking care of this man-child. It's once again just a very much like opposing of ideals of she sees someone in which she can sell what her beliefs have always been too. Because like the only other interaction she's had is with the ghoul as a character who's like, he is the militant atheist to Lucy's like evangelical Christian, like fucking Jehovah's Witness Christian.
Yeah.
Whereas Maximus is now set up as your on the fence agnostic who doesn't really know much about it, that she now knows she can sell this idea to, so she can continue clinging to her beliefs, even though she's learning more and more that like, no, what you believe is fucking wrong, has been wrong for a long time. You've been lied to essentially your entire life, and she's trying to find something to cling to. And so she's selling him. And so I see it less of her helping out this man-child and more of her selling her dream to continue to believe in herself.
Yeah,
to him.
Because you're right. That is something consistent. She's continuously trying to take her ideals and enforce them on the world in some like way, shape, or form. She's trying to she wants her vision of morality and the way things work to like function.
Right.
And she keeps trying to. In that conversation with the ghoul where she talks about the golden rule, in her weird diplomatic interactions, she's continuously trying to take this and like make it work until I think she's finally broken in the last episode.
Yeah.
When she realized that it's all a lie and it's always been enforced by violence and that she's just been blind to it.
Yeah. You're essentially just like a rat in a fucking experiment here.
The piece that you were so proud of is a lie.
Yeah.
And the only thing that has really supported it has been the oppression of people that are the people above you enacting violence and oppression.
The wonderful the thing that's been sold to you your entire life of like, oh, it's only a few more years before we can go repopulate the earth, is a fucking whole ass lie. Like, you're just a part of, you're yet another cog in a cycle that's been going on for a couple hundred years. And you're just a product. You're literally the result of a product. You're a product. And that's what she ends up having to learn. Like, as I said, and I believe y'all feel the same way, it's a good show. Like, it's a fun show. It's just, and particularly in the case of Maximus, like, they're trying to convey some shit that is, they're not having a good time as conveying. Once again, like, I'm glad we had you here to talk about it, because this could literally just come down to us not understanding the intercourse systems of the game, and it could be a reference to that, in which...
Yeah, I can't say for sure if it is either, but...
Well, I came away from it thinking that people that saw Fallout, played Fallout, loved Fallout, will love this series.
Will love this.
They think it's they're gonna think it's hot
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
The way that I think Vox Machina, the animated series, is hot shit.
Yeah.
Right. I think people that come away that don't know Fallout, that don't think, are probably gonna come away from thinking it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good. 7, 8 out of 10. Depending on how you feel about the series. It's a solid series. They do a really good job of storytelling. The visuals are excellent. Set design, animations, VFX, all very good, very cohesive, really well done. The storytelling and writing, I don't necessarily like some of the characterization, but that doesn't mean it's not good.
Right.
Right. It doesn't mean it's not still like a well done piece.
Like, I find Maximus annoying, but not so much that it's taking me out of, like, there's two ways in which people generally tend to complain about a character. They complain about the character in universe, and then they complain about the character, like, as a written narrative. And I find Maximus annoying in universe, not so much as in a written narrative. I think there are better ways to do his character. I think there's ways to critique it, but most of mine is like, I can still view him as a character that's just making really stupid decisions, not somebody in a writing room who's making really bad decisions.
Versus how I feel about Usopp.
Really?
One Piece. Yeah, I think Usopp's way too whiny. I don't.
Oh yeah, no, that's just annoying. I don't know why anime is so fucking obsessed with that kind of character. Usopp, Zenitsu, the fucking blonde hair kid from Windbreaker.
Yeah.
Like, they are so obsessed with, like, you have to have your crybaby character who will not shut the fuck up in moments of intensity.
The kid from Windbreaker.
Yeah.
I'm okay with cowardice in my characters is something that you like encounter and overcome.
Right.
Because I feel like that's something that we constantly deal with as humans.
Yeah.
But when your defining character feature is cowardice and inactivity due to that cowardice, I can't stand it. But anyway,
yeah, like, honestly, I kind of want to stick here because, like, there's a character who does this really well. If you want that kind of character, fucking Leorio from Hunter x Hunter does that characterization really well. He's someone who doesn't really care for, like, his motivation for becoming a hunter is all money with some level of morale in there. He is not immediately trying to get into a fight. Like, he's not fucking, he doesn't have a fight boner like Killua and Gon both have. Or like this righteous sense of justice that, like, Kurapika has. But, like, he's a coward that will try to weasel his way out of some shit sometimes. But when it requires it, he's there. Like, he's not going to just fucking abandon his friends. And he's not whining and crying and pissing himself and screaming every time something kind of scary is going on around him. Like, oh my God, Zenitsu is I fucking hate that character.
He's egregiously bad when he's introduced. Like, specifically the first, like, 3 or 4 episodes that he gets introduced. Terrible. Yeah. Agreed.
It's so
It
fucking
is
bad.
very bad.
Because all he does is scream and cry. Every second he's on the screen, except for the few moments in which he has to be a badass. And he doesn't even get to be awake for that. And that's the best time you get to see that character, is when he's knocked the fuck out.
Literally unconscious.
Literally unconscious.
I wonder if that's on purpose. I wonder if we're supposed to hate him because he's only when he's unconscious. I wonder if it's
maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah. So, like, I guess back to the Fallout series. It's like there's those characters, but it's like you do such a bad job when you make them. Well, I won't say a bad job. I keep saying that in this critique. It's just Maximus. There's better things they could have did with him. I don't hate him on screen, but I don't like him either.
Yeah.
And maybe it is that you're supposed to not like him. Maybe this is some kind of commentary from one of the writers or some shit. But
well, like reckoning with cyclical violence and a cult-like ideology,
right?
Fucking
the dude they send in as his backup squire, had a better character arc than Maximus got.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you literally get to meet this guy who, he's one of the guys who's beating up. Like, he's kind of ringleader of like beating up on Maximus when you first meet him. When he gets sent in, so after Maximus steals the suit and they send in another squire, the dude comes in and you find out it's the guy that beat him up. And this is the moment where you see that Maximus is tested and immediately fails the test. Like, he immediately becomes the exact person that he didn't like in the night before him.
He could have been better, but he wasn't.
But he chose not to. Which there's parts of me that are absolutely like, I hate the bigger person narrative. I fucking hate that shit in a lot of cases. Because like, no, there's moments in which you finally get a chance to have your revenge and you're gonna take it. And he does it in a way of just being kind of a dick to the guy, which you do then realize is, this is how all the knights went. They were beat up as recruits. They got to be squires. Eventually, they somehow managed to move up through like just dealing with it, and now they get to be in the position of power, and they're just gonna perpetuate the cycle of violence, right? But very quickly, him, Maximus, and the squire, because he never gets out of the suit, so the squire doesn't know it's not Titus. Maximus, they quickly become like very good friends. Like, you see a point where Maximus saves him from a gulper, and that's your turning point back to Maximus realizing he has to be better than the last guy, like the guy that bullied him, right? And so they become really good friends after a point, to a point where they're sitting around a fire, and Maximus is talking about how, Titus is talking about how Maximus died, and the guy who's there is like, that's a real shame. And so Maximus is like, you were kicking my ass before I say something nice about him. Like, literally just say something nice about him. Dude's like, he was a good guy. Like, there was nothing wrong with him. Like, then he goes, say something bad about him. It's the reminder, he's in the mech suit, so it's this super deep voice. And it's the weirdest question to ever ask anybody, but you don't question the knight. And he says, say something bad about him. And the kid's like, well,
he's dead. I don't really want to.
I don't know. It's like, kind of feel awkward, man. Like, he's dead. And also he was like, I used to be the guy who got picked on and like beat up for whatever reason. And so the only reason I did it to him was because, like, you have a better telling of the cycle of violence story through this side character than you do with Maximus's own story. Because he literally lays it out of like, it's really just a cycle of violence. I was on the bottom rung. Someone new came in. I saw it as my opportunity to stop being shit on, and everyone went with it. So just kind of kept it going. And you literally learn that through his character of that's why he was beating up on Maximus. No other reason.
It was just to escape his own
torment. Because that's just how the cycle of like power, and that's how the totem pole works. Someone newer than you always has to be the bottom rung.
And there's also the question of whether or not he put that razor in the guy's boot.
They answer that right at the
I know they answer it right
but
at
it
the
is
end.
The question all the way up. Did Maximus do it?
Yeah, because like that question was weighing so heavy. At least for me, on
that's
my
fair.
Judgment of Maximus's character.
That's fair.
And at the end, I still thought, what's their face?
Dane,
the
one who got the Dane.
Androgyny.com.
Yeah.
The hottest character. Until they were like, I did it to myself. They're like screaming that. I thought that was a lie.
Right.
Until they came back and had a conversation with Maximus about it later.
And they were literally like, I didn't think they'd blame you for it. I just didn't want to deal with the wilderness bullshit.
Yeah. They were like, I was just scared. I thought Maximus was going to be like, why did you take the fall?
Why did you take the fall?
Like,
they did leave that very ambiguous for the entire series. I didn't think a lot about it right up until that last moment. Because when the first moment happens, so the character gets their heel cut with a razor.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, I'm like, I don't think Maximus did it. Because it seemed like too obvious of a choice, in my opinion. Of like, of course, well, yeah, he's being set up because obviously he was jealous. He would be jealous of his friend to the point that the character straight up says it, right?
So it's like,
the
I
elder,
wanted it to happen.
The elder straight up goes, well, of course you would do it because you're jealous that your friend got promoted and you didn't.
And it's not like he immediately
Maximus,
denied it either.
Yeah.
Like it made you think that he had potentially done it.
Right.
Well, Maximus had guilt associated with it because he literally says like, I wanted it to happen. Like he's like, I wanted
which
that opportunity.
completely unprompted for no reason. Why would you say that, Maximus?
Especially if you didn't even do
That was
it.
actually for me that was the only thing that even came close to exonerating him.
Fair.
It was
Like the truth being the truthful. I mean, yeah, like I'm looking at this as like, if I'm sitting in front of the fucking elder council with a knight behind me, I'm not telling you I wanted it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why this happened. I don't know who did it. Shit.
I'd keep that to myself.
Yeah, right. Like I'm taking that one to my grave.
Deny.
Exactly. But as a written narrative, it's a really good way to show that he's somebody with a good. He has heart somewhere in there.
Yeah. Well, everybody deals with jealousy,
Right.
envy, right? But the question about what makes us courageous or coward is what we do when we're confronted with those emotions.
Yeah.
Right. Do you lash out and attack others in your jealousy, or do you lean into your emotions, which are to celebrate the success of others?
Right.
Right. And then deal with those things in your own way or another
And right
way.
before the foot cutting thing, we do see him like lash out, not at anybody in particular, but you just see a moment of extreme anger and frustration out of him. That's supposed to lend to the whole maybe he did do it. That was another reason I thought he didn't.
Too obvious.
It's just too obvious. It was too obvious to me.
That's the thing though, because actually that was one of the, in terms of writing, I think they did a really good job of like positioning it right in between. It aligns perfectly with his motivations, but they made it feel too obvious, and then they just never addressed.
Yeah, they did just kind of
whether or
stop
not
addressing it after
it
they sent him off
happened.
as a squire.
So they put this big old fucking question mark over his head, and
Yeah.
then let you make judgments based on his actions as they followed, which kind of pointed towards, for me, making it look like he probably did it.
That's fair. Like I said, it's more that I just stopped thinking about it after that. But it lends itself to the whole, like, you have your morally white character, Lucy, your morally black character, the Ghoul, and then your morally gray character in Maximus. Like, you know Lucy's doing the right thing for right reasons as she understands it. You know the Ghoul is doing
The wrong thing for the right reason.
wrong thing for the right reason, even though you don't know. Like, he's set up to be just a straight up evil character as far as you know. You don't know what his real motivation is until like the last episode, even though you can kind of piece it together pretty well. And then Maximus, like, his motivations are like, he really is kind of aimless. And I don't say that derogatorily. Like,
Is he the player?
I don't
Saves
think
the
so.
town but picks everybody's pocket.
Yes. Sorta, not really.
Not
That's the problem with Maximus, is that they don't stick
would
to a
be-
real characterization of him.
That would be a real interesting characterization of Maximus, because that would mean that he's clever.
Yeah.
That would mean that he has desires. That would mean
Yeah.
that he, like,
Like, he literally has
goes
no.
beyond just like,
He's the most NPC of the bunch.
actually, yeah.
Like, he is the most, like, he's on a very set path, and it doesn't make a lot. Like, he doesn't know why he's doing anything he is, other than because the fucking game engine said he has to. Like, that's the best way I can describe Maximus as a character. I hope he's a little bit better in season 2. We'll
I think
see.
He's gonna get worse.
He probably is.
the way they ended it off. It definitely feels like it
Yeah.
might get worse for him.
Well, I think he's gonna transition into full villainy.
Do you think so?
I think so. Well, there's a different. I'm not sure exactly how they're gonna play it out, because they had that guy who they didn't make this explicit because it was unclear about how high up that man was in the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Whether he was the sovereign leader or if he was somebody in like the middle to upper echelons. But I think that man is going to try to consolidate power both within the Brotherhood and within the Wasteland.
I mean, they very explicitly say that's what he's going to try and do.
Yeah. They weren't subtle about it.
They weren't.
I think they're going to try to take Maximus along the lines with them. And Maximus is either, after feeling betrayed by Lucy, going to engage in this with zeal, or he's going to engage in it with doubt.
Yeah.
Right? Because you set him up with having that false accreditation given to him.
Right.
You have a character who already has doubts about the system that he was put in and about what he's doing. But you also have him in a situation where he's placed directly back into relying on that system.
Yeah.
And so he's either and actually you probably might end up with even worse waffling, right? Where he's leaning really hard back into the system, but then these doubts are pulling him back out really hard again.
I think my biggest issue is that there is no clear direction that they can even go in because they refuse to give Maximus a clear direction of his character.
Yeah.
And maybe that's on purpose. Maybe that is on purpose.
Yeah.
If it is, if it ties together real well by the end of the series, I will look back in retrospect and kind of reassess his character. But part of me feels like it's just someone's not really certain what they want to do. It almost felt like, what it felt like to me was different person directing each episode or each cluster of episodes and doing something different with Maximus's character. Like, because once again, you had the whole traveling the wasteland thing, and he's like militant, street smart, Lucy, this is what the world is really like. And then you get to the episodes in the vault, and he's a complete 180 character. He is, to the point that he's sitting in his robe and his slippers in front of a TV just staring at a waterfall, which is understandable given he's never got to see a natural waterfall. And like eating popcorn, not just eating popcorn, like
Fisting it.
Like popcorn all over the place. That's the infantilizing thing that I'm referring to. Of in literally a single shower, he goes from this cold, untrusting, like the world is a dangerous place, to couch lock, brain dead, just shoveling food in his mouth. Like it just is such a, it's a juxtaposition that doesn't seem like, or it's like someone's attempt at juxtaposition that isn't reading as juxtaposition. It's just reading as like kind of all over the place.
The more we talk about it, though, actually, I think the more I'm kind of coming around on it a little bit.
I was going to say the same thing, actually.
Because I think that he, despite I think the flaws that we're seeing, really set Maximus up as a very human character.
Yeah.
Right? In a way that deeply bugs me.
Yeah.
In a way that deeply, like, it's like reading those books they make you read in high school that are just about sad, cowardly white men and how their life sucks.
Yeah.
And then you're like, why am I reading this?
Like, what kind of books?
Like,
He just told you the kind of books.
The Sun Also Rises, The Catcher in the Rye, insert like anything else, almost any other book I've read from high school here, like with the exceptions maybe being something that's so old that it was written in Old English and To Kill a Mockingbird, because you know what, you gotta let those kids know that racism's bad.
That is To Kill a Mockingbird.
Wasn't the dad kind of sad and white in that?
Atticus Finch, yeah.
Atticus Finch was definitely that.
Hey, you leave Andy Griffith alone.
What?
The guy who played Atticus Finch in the To Kill a Mockingbird movie is Andy Griffith, yeah. Or his actor, whatever the actor's name is.
And then I guess by myself, I also read Slaughterhouse-5, but that was just because I was a masochist. I also read Catch-22. All that also fits that. If you ever, and then just like a couple of books people gave me as kids, as a high schooler, just like reading it. A lot of times it feels like you're reading about somebody in a fugue state who are just like sad and being human. Which I think is a narrative I don't always particularly enjoy. Just because.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking. You don't care for the heteronormative, very baked into American psyche white male protagonist.
Oh, yeah.
As it turns out.
Wild
Who
for
would
me.
have thought? Yeah. Yeah. All that to say, I like this Fallout show. Like it's crazy how much I like the show. Even like all these complaints about Maximus in some parts of the show is not to say that it's not an enjoyable show. It's actually really fun. I was looking forward to watching it every time we sat down for a session.
Want to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I can't wait for season 2. Apparently, that's happening end of 2025,
which is pretty soon.
Some would say.
I mean,
for
when
like
you
a year and
to,
a half away.
Well, when you compare it to, I guess, other series and their release dates nowadays,
It's funny. It actually shocked me that it's coming out that late because I don't watch shit. Like I don't watch series, like series and shit like that.
Are we ever gonna get more of the Mandalorian?
Did they not end that?
I thought they were done with that.
Oh, they ended it.
I think so.
I don't know. I haven't been caught up myself. What I heard from is that it seemed like it ended.
Was him handing over Grogu to?
Don't you mean Baby Yoda? He doesn't get to have a name.
His name is Grogu.
Grogu.
Yeah. Is that your first time hearing that?
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. That thing has a name. It's not, in fact, Baby Yoda.
Was that the end? I mean, that would make sense. That would be a fitting ending, and there's no real reason to continue. But I want more.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's the thing. I thought that was the end. I think that there was a.
Did they get greedy and do another season that nobody watched because it wasn't going to be as good without Baby Yoda?
I think he's back.
Like I know they did
You gotta ramp it up and do like Baby Jar Jar Binks.
Oh
my gosh! No, throw it away
with his Jar Jar Binks Sith powers.
Oh my gosh!
I still wish that Jar Jar Binks was the Sith Lord.
Yeah,
puppet master.
I was actually just talking about that with some disc golf buddies of like the whole Jar Jar Binks being a a Sith Lord.
He's the mole.
Would have been the best.
I feel like it could have been happening, and then they were just like, nope, not popular enough.
Not popular enough.
It would have been. I want to live in that timeline. I want to live in the timeline where
Jar Jar Binks is the Sith Lord. Oh, absolutely.
And it was just like a total blindside.
Yeah.
But then they had like the parts where he was like, his lips were moving in sync with other characters, like he was mind control.
Oh yeah,
like
that would be interesting. I say as someone who's never seen a Star Wars movie.
Really? None.
I never cared for him. I never cared for Star Wars.
Never gonna watch any of them because of spite.
You never watched any of them either?
I've seen all of them.
I was gonna say you say that like I have not advertised that for years. At this point, I don't watch Star Wars because I enjoy the reaction of people finding out I've never watched a Star Wars movie more than I'm ever going to enjoy the movies themselves.
Just like when I talk about how I've only ever seen the last episode of Game of Thrones.
Really?
You watched it all the way through?
No, I've only watched the last one.
Only the last episode.
Well, yeah, the last episode all the way through.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
You caught the best parts of Game of Thrones.
I saw maybe like
it
the
was
first.
so bad, and I didn't even know what was going on.
Yep.
I mean, if you haven't seen the whole show,
I want to read that book.
I didn't comprehend how fully bad it was, but I was still like,
that seems real bad.
Stupid ass bullshit.
I really want to read the books if Grimm ever fucking finishes them.
He's not going to.
He's never going to. I know he won't. We were supposed to lock him up in the tower and force him to do it, but we never got around to doing that. Yeah, he told us. There was Grimm literally said that if he doesn't finish that fucking book by some time, we had permission to lock him in a tower overlooking a lake and make him finish the books. And then no one ever followed up on that. And honestly, I gotta say, fucking lazy on y'all.
I mean, it's kind of hard to find the location.
Yeah, it's easy. I ain't gotta worry too much about it.
It's all up here.
All up here. All right.
People are building the tower as we speak.
Yeah. Fucking Tower Babble going on again.
Bruh.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, the fucking Kendrick and Drake shit's looking real bad for Drake right now. Yeah. There's a lot.
Before?
Well, the thing about it before is there was a lot of shit thrown at Jake, like a lot of accusations levied at Jake.
But
Drake, with no real so I ended that conversation last week with like, I guess we'll see. I don't know. Like, I've heard a lot of accusations, but no real like concrete evidence other than like the weird shit he's done. There's now people coming out the fucking woodworks with like, there's one of like the dude who Drake paid for info on Kendrick who gave him false info and like Drake never got anything on Kendrick for real. There's plenty of like girls and women coming forth of like their weird interactions with Drake. There's still the part of like no one has come forward defending Drake in all of this shit yet. Like, it is the level of just like info that's coming out and the amount of like people coming forward with like their own tidbits about Drake and how they feel about him and how the industry feels about him. It's looking real bad for Drake. I heard a rumor. I don't know how true it is. I've not looked into it myself, but apparently Drake has sold off all of his U.S. properties and ran away to Canada, has sent his son and his baby mama to France or some shit.
That doesn't bode well.
I know, right? Yeah. Like, it's like he's running away from the fucking U.S. Yeah, like it's looking pretty dark for Drake. And like there's a new Twitter account that's like showing that Drake was trying to say that like some info that Kendrick had on him was planted. So they showed like some items of his, some prescription bottles that should have belonged to Drake. Kendrick used as an album art in one of his songs, or a cover art as one of his songs. Drake in his last song said all of that was fake. We planted that just to troll you. And there's a Twitter account out there right now showing all of that shit. It's speculation on whether it's Kendrick or someone closely tied to Kendrick, but like showing all of the shit that was in the video, all of the items. And it's like, this wasn't just planted by you, motherfucker. Like, this shit exists. And if you really don't know, like they showed like a Brooklyn Times or whatever the fuck the newspaper is in Brooklyn, with the current date of the date they dropped it, and going like, yeah, no, this shit's current. This is the actual items. You didn't just plant this photo and get it sent over to Kendrick. We actually had this shit on you.
So wait, what was it that was questionable about the items?
Well, it was not so much the items. It was that it meant that there was somebody in Drake's camp that was feeding Kendrick information.
Oh, I see.
So Drake was trying to go, I know there's a mole, or like, we're feeding you false information.
I gotcha.
And they're like, yeah, no, you're not. like there's a fucking screenshot of Drake at some jewelry store that lines up with a receipt from the picture or some shit. It's dark days for Drake right now. There was a part of me that felt like this will blow over eventually, but like there's now a part of me that's like, eventually this might be done for Drake, at least
for keeps.
Yeah, this might be over for Drake. Short now, until someone actually comes forth and is like, yeah, Drake had sex with me when I was underage and he knew I was underage. I don't think any actual legal action is going to come of it at any time, but every day there's a new thing that comes out, and there's been a bunch of girls or I say a bunch, there was this one girl who was like, pretty much said everything but Drake had sex with me when I was 17. Like, she alluded to a lot of shit like a naive teenager would, and just doesn't know how to keep her fucking mouth shut. So there's an implication that this is someone that she was literally forced to sign an NDA saying she couldn't talk about her interaction with Drake. There's a story of a girl who talked about getting literally picked by Drake's entourage as like part of his Tinder thing. So if you've never heard of that, there's a rumor that Drake has his entourage go out and just pick girls they know he would like and like bring them to like his shows and then to his after parties and shit for him to have sex with, and just to hang with. and they call it Tinder. So they call it Drake's personal Tinder. And like, so there's one girl on TikTok who's like detailing how her friend got one of those invites and she got one by extension. And like what happened after the show in the green room of how like they passed out these Powerade bottles and like, so like first she details like it's an after party going on with there was a completely like free bar. No one's been carded at this point. So like they could be children, not what gives a fuck, right? No one knows like if these are children or not because no one's being carded. And then they see Drake come in and he like kind of sort of mingles with like some of the people and then like kind of bounces. And then when he's like retiring to his hotel room, I guess, at that point they bring like the girls that like they handpicked for Drake and they give them all, they hand like out bottles of Powerade. And the girl says her friend was about to drink it. Say it again.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid?
Yeah. She says her friend was about to drink it. She stopped her from drinking it and said, no, be a little, like, let's be smart about this. And they watched one girl who did drink it go from being 100% sober to 100% incoherent.
Oof.
Like roofie shit type shit, right? And that's yet another story that's come out. There's been a few other girls coming forward about like their interactions with Drake. There's been a lot of people going like they have industry friends and shit that's party with Drake. And so like his pill popping issue is an actual thing. There's been a lot of people that's been speaking more on, even without the allegations, there's been a lot of people going like, the reason we don't like Drake is because you're a fucking poser. Like you've been masquerading around as this like gangster rapper and like you grew up in like fucking gang affiliated like Southside shit. It's like, motherfucker, you grew up in Toronto with your mother. Like, you grew up in a basement room with a mom who fucking loved you and provided for you in a way most people would never fucking experience. To the point you got to be a child star on fucking Degrassi and moved your way up through that shit. Like you are co-opting like the black struggle, the black American struggle as a fucking Toronto Canadian mixed kid. Like, and so that's like, even without all the allegations, that's why a lot of people just don't like Drake. It's because like you're being a poser. Quit this. Stop it.
Get some help.
Get some help. Like when Lil Wayne, I don't know if he signed Drake or he just worked really closely with Drake, but I guess I think he did sign Drake. There's an interview of him literally telling Drake like, hey, just because I'm signing you, don't start rapping about guns and shit and killing people. That ain't you. That isn't you. Like, don't rap about the shit I rap about. Stick to the shit that you know. Stick to fucking Canadian shit. Stick to rapping about girls and sex. Like, that's your thing. If you're gonna rap, do that.
Says you're a lover boy.
You're a lover boy. Be a lover boy. And Drake's ego wouldn't let him take that proper advice, and he had to become the cool thing, quote unquote, as best of his knowledge. And so that's largely where a lot of Kendrick's anger for Drake stems from, and that's where the reason why a lot of the industry just doesn't like Drake, because it's very much a culture vulture type shit. So I wasn't planning on getting into a lot with this. There's not a lot to update other than like there's just more shit coming out every day that does not look good for Drake and looks best for Kendrick every fucking time. But yeah, we're gonna call it there for the night then. Got into a real long conversation about fucking
good movies and bad movies,
and then the Fallout series.
Good series,
right?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So
would watch it again. I'm looking forward to the next season.
I'm looking forward to the next season as well.
I'll have to check it out.
You should. You definitely should. If you want to watch it over here at one point with our account, I don't know if you have because it wasn't free with Prime. You had to actually pay for.
You get a free trial, but
yeah, you get the
with that shit.
Fair enough.
If you have Amazon Prime, you should have Prime Video.
Yeah, I've got.
I don't have Prime. I'm not paying for a Prime Video subscription.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what the issue was with my dad's stuff. He was able to watch it just fine, so I think it might be like some address blocking.
Could be. It sounds like they're like a lot of services are really cracking down on that shit.
Yeah, which I hate, but it makes sense for them.
It makes sense, but it's still stupid. Yeah, no, give it a watch. It's a fun time. Especially if you are familiar with the Fallout series, You're definitely gonna have a good time with it. But yeah, I think we're gonna end that off for tonight. I am feeling not super great. I really hope I'm not getting sick because I have a major tournament coming up this weekend, and I really need to not be sick for that. But yeah,
Cool.
good.
Sick.
We good. Oops.
All that it.
Yeah.
Out of here.
Stay gay.
Thank y'all for being here.
Yeah. Once again, thank y'all for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe as always. Follow us on our various social medias. They'll be around the screen once again at the end here, and we will see y'all next week.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.